Whoops. Hi, friends. Welcome in. I forgot I was streaming. Yep. Completely forgot. Amazon arrived. So, oh, Javi's up there. Let's move. Boop. 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 And Javi. Boop. There we go. Boop. Alright. And I have loaded Trippy Bitches. There's that. Hi, Mac
Okay. This
Mac.
one is for me.
Very much Mac Mac.
Sound mixer.
I love them. They make so much noise. I'm a hand talker. We all know that.
Duh.
So I've been trying to improve my depression spiral by doing my nails and stuff. But I'm getting frustrated with the amount of medication that just shows up at the door. So, yay.
Hey.
Well, yeah. Yes. Thanks to that asshole that you live with.
GI doctor sent 3 new medicines. Yay.
So fucking stressed out all the time.
But I also can't stop or swap out any of my previous ones. I just have to keep adding. Okay, stop. Stopping. Done. Hardware came. Redirecting.
Laminate. I got lamb now.
Hardware for purses. Cute little buttons and knobs that look like butterflies and hearts and kitties and shit. For the turn dials.
That's
on
cute.
the turns on the purses. You know, the like, then you lift the flap up. Yeah, there's birds and butterflies and shit. I got a bunch of these to do stitch markers.
When did that?
Did you ever get the laser?
Shit. Oh shit.
No.
Those are cute.
I've not even gone near it. It's the plague at the moment, and I do not want to address it. So, one thing at a time.
That's fair. I feel like that's my life all the time.
Oh. I mean.
You laugh, but it's true.
I agree, though. Uh-huh.
I pull it with my hands.
I keep forgetting that I need to share my stream. 2 places.
Habak. Disney.
Sharing is caring unless you're... Yeah.
There it is. That's the button.
Unless you're stuff that I can't say on stream.
Demonetized, she says. Lol.
Nice. I need this.
Oh, fuck. I need to get
Gross.
over to that one. Hang on, I'm trying to share them on the Discords.
We need to get you a new apartment.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Love you.
Love you. Let's see. This one. And...
Alright.
Enough. There he is.
Blues, Angelo, Balloon, and Red.
There they are.
Wait.
I finished sharing them in the Discords. Now I can go back to life.
Blues, more Angelo.
Okay. And I'm doing a different style of bestie bags. Hi, Nico.
Oh yeah, I only sold one thing yesterday at the Flash event, and that was the black
Hello,
kitty with the
motherfucker.
orange
I told
port.
you.
Everyone loved that
I
one.
told
Everyone
you that
loved
one
it.
would rip. I want to do it
Yeah.
in neon green and then more of them in orange as well. I also want to do it in red.
Absolutely.
It
I
hasn't
mean-
sold-
Wait, say that again, Elsa?
I said, guess who hasn't sold shit?
Have you gone to anything to sell shit?
Have you
No.
finished even assembling your goddamn material? Because there's no way you have. I for sure sent you 2 bags full.
Yeah, but one of those bags was filled with stuff that didn't even.
Testers.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be testing things on it and letting me know how it works out in the fucking wood we're using, boner.
She called you boner.
I don't want any of these. They're all horse.
Handicap? What?
Don't talk about my face that way.
When are they bringing back the hamburger that has a kitty ears?
Oh, my fucking squad sucks.
Hmm.
Laminated, you bitches.
Okay, well I'm on, so add me,
Oh.
skank.
Okay.
I was doing my dailies.
You don't even have dailies. Stop lying.
Up, up. Numbers.
I need to do one more squad classic.
I need
Ramen.
to do all of them.
Ramen.
Classic games, squoods. Who are you? What are you doing here?
I'm gonna make channel back on the inside of that backpack. Shut-
You're going to crazy bananas what now?
I'm gonna make the inside a kawaii in the inside.
A kawaii in the inside?
Yeah.
How?
With adding some of my little stuff.
Well, don't fill up her bag with weird things, because it's only for her to be, like, comfortable in when you take her outside. Don't put your toys or anything in there.
Hello,
None of your
Alice.
buddies.
Hi, Alice.
The buddies say hi, Alice.
Hi.
Nico says it.
Hi, Nico.
Nico.
Hi, Nico. Wait, did I find that stinky cloud and put it in there?
Did you boot?
That stinky cloud.
She sat on my lap and shit herself. The
Love
fuck?
it.
The fuck? Nasty ass child. I swear to God, her middle name's Elsabeth.
No.
That fucking cackle as she ran, don't even lie, you whore. You heard her cackle. Don't even act like you didn't. Try it. My God. I got more, no, crop dust you walk through. She came over here and straight up bombed me. Disgusting little butthole.
Silent but violent.
Man.
Just trying to make you proud.
Nasty booger.
Showing you that she can.
You can smell like a rotting corpse while actively moving? Yes, cool. I needed to know all of that.
People keep getting in my way and putting fruit in front of me.
The fucking...
It was.
Ah, fucking strawberry to the mouth. Run, bitch! Woo! No, I did not play my song. Oh my god. Sorry, I'm a horrible person and even worse professional. Thank you. Welcome in, friends. Hi, if you're new here.
We're gonna have some fun tonight, 'cause you can't touch my boobies. Don't be shy, yeah, it's alright, 'cause you can't touch my boobies.
5.
That's
You can
right.
touch my boobie?
Nope.
Absolutely.
Stop.
Especially you, Elsabeth. Laminated! I think we should blame that on Javi for not being in the game yet, because she's a skank.
Because I'm playing another game, I'm going to die.
Skank. That's how you pronounce that. That's how you pronounce that where we're from. Skank. You know it's community night, and yet you do not. Party? Skank.
Yeah.
Oh no, I didn't. I didn't make Munch a command, and I'm not going to, because we have exclamation Sam. And we don't need exclamation Munch, because we have
Another
exclamation Sam. We are hashtag Team Sammy. Munch is just an accessory. If y'all don't know Munch, he's Uncle Pineapple Cookies. That's what Alice calls him. My
Okay, this-
my bestie
okay.
soul person.
I'm panicking.
Ooh, there's a dragonfly in here. He's through her.
Hey.
There's a dragonfly in your apartment?
No, look at this one.
I cannot with your nails right now.
I don't care.
How do you function?
Oh, very well, thank you. Would you like to touch my boobies? Which one of these is this? Oh, it's this one. Look at this. Isn't that pretty? You see it? So you lift up the bee tail. Isn't that cute?
Yes.
Yeah. And there's a heart. And a kitty. And a flutterby. And a bird. The bird. Whoop. Run! Wow!
Bag clasps. Bag clasps, Mech Mech.
Gosh.
Oh, you pick the fuck out my way.
Motherfuckers.
Anyway, they're bag clasps, purse clasps, purse clasps.
9. Just kept pushing me off.
Back in here. These need to be opened up. For the danglies.
I've been working on my granny squares all day.
Nice.
Because my head's been bothering me, so I just haven't done anything else.
Mm-hmm. I laid in bed and read. In my
Nice.
underpants and a hoodie.
I couldn't read. My eyeballs are not today.
Mm.
Fucking sinuses.
Oh. Oh.
I got Alice a backpack so she could take her cat outside on walks.
Nice.
One of those like see-through net backpack things. You know, pet carrier backpack. But it's like an ass house, you know.
Restarting.
Yeah, I know. This one moves on its own though, so I don't need to do anything yet.
Well, even the movement of this game is making my head go wonky. Ah!
I'm out.
On.
Laminated.
I got one.
Same. All of us did. Exit. Did you put her in? Okay. Here, let me see. Yeah, zipper.
It's an arsenic plate.
She's doing homework.
Uh.
Come here.
Third class.
It is crunch time. I have to have all of my stuff done, including finals, by the 18th, 19th, and 20th. So I am.
Not your
Yeah.
class.
There. Her me meow backpack.
It's a meow meow backpack.
The lights out. I'm so confused.
Yeah, the cat's also confused.
The cat is in a backpack.
Well, yeah, it's a little. It's for
No,
her.
Javi said I was explaining why she
Oh.
should not be confused.
Alice got a cat backpack. Like a literal backpack for carrying her cat around.
It's better than saying the cat is in her pants.
Okay. Other arm. Okay. Is your sausage kitty a fatty? I told ya! She's a fatty! There, go show her to your dad. Don't jump though, she's gonna be upset. Carefully. Ooh, you're a whole problem.
Say that like you're surprised.
I mean, once or twice I do. Oh shit, we Javi, did you load up the game, damn it?
No, sorry.
You whore!
I'm stuck.
If you're stuck, then you should turn that garbage off and come play with us. Or else we're gonna play something else.
Why are you?
Wait, what are we playing? Why do I don't even want any of the fucking dailies. What the hell?
Noodle nomming. Perform any phrase 3 times.
Fuck it, I'm turning it
Emo.
off. Let's play something else. This game is butts. Let's farm, bitch. Beer!
Oh, I'm not at my computer, right?
Oh, no. I didn't. What
We can play. Anything.
What can we play?
Overcooked?
Oh, yeah, we can do that.
Sure. Yeah. Oh.
Mother, will you be cooking?
Mother
Wait
is
low. Ah, fucking no.
Mother!
Mother
Okay.
You're gay! But also, will you be cooking?
Play a round or two, and then I will hop in and play around. I'm almost done this
Bonus.
study guide thing, so I'll treat myself to a game afterwards.
Whoop whoop. Yeah, she does. Don't lie.
What?
Mech says that Bookworm has a kitty stroller, but she does not use it for 6-card, and that is a lie. We all know that she gives him uppy rides in the stroller.
Puppies?
Puppies. Okay. Okay.
So I watched a Korean show, Netflix. It was super good.
It was unhinged AF, you say?
No. It was good. But it was like literally like 24 hours worth of shows. Of episodes.
Right. Well, that sounds like shit!
Right. Are you in the game yet?
I couldn't find it. I had to go find it. And I found it. And now I have to change my title to say Cooking with Horse. Ookie, ah.
Hurry up.
Overcooked
I'm-
all you can
I'm
put
in
in
the
your
game
mouth.
now.
Wow.
Javier, don't.
I have Javi. I invited her.
What?
What?
Um.
I said.
Yum 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 yum.
Yum 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 yum.
Yum 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 yum.
Yum 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 yum. I want
Uh,
to stud this pink quilted backpack.
There's the invite.
But also it says you're offline, you fucking wiener. Look at that shit. It says offline.
I am offline.
Bar some barf. Horse patootie. Squirrel!
Are you in all you can eat?
Yes, Mary. I'm a squirrel.
Yeah, like a stretch.
I just closed it and opened it again.
Do I have you something as Barf? Because I'm invited in good thing you. I'm trying to invite you via Steam, and that's probably why.
Yeah, no, you have to invite me through T17 or whatever.
But it says you're offline in there too.
So I'm not using Steam on the Xbox.
Okay. On your Team 17, your thing is still Barf, right?
Yes.
With it 99 at the end?
Yep.
I invited you again to be my friend.
You're playing on Steam, aren't you?
I'm playing on the computer. Wait, what did I
Xbox?
load it? Wait.
Steam.
Steam. Yeah, I'm on Steam.
Oh, that's probably why.
I turned it off and turned it back on. Whoops. I'm sorry, Javi. I'll invite you again. Some stuff happened.
Yeah. You were
sorry.
screaming at me and now I'm the only one in
Sorry.
the game.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm on my way back. Stuff happened.
Alright.
But it happened. Ew, they changed my goddamn chef again. I am a squirrel. Thank you. Bam. Invite. Online. Javier, invite. Team 17 in friends. Am I in your friends on T17? Does it say I'm online
Yes.
or offline?
Does not say you're online.
Then you are the problem, because you suck. Why are you on the Xbox?
Because I'm not at my computer.
But if I said wink, 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 wink. Oh,
It's gonna take me 11 minutes.
11 minutes. All right. Okay. In the meantime,
Play something else.
okay. What you got then, bitch, that you can fucking play with us?
No.
That's exactly the problem. What the hell
Off
is
with your
that?
friends.
Oh, yeah, we can do that. And there's a new, ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Lovely. Alright, golfing with hose. Anybody want to golf?
Oh, I don't remember if I have that installed. Let me check.
Golf with hose. Golf with bitches.
Yes. Yes.
It doesn't say you're on.
On golf?
I'm installing the game again.
It says I'm on. Maybe because you're looking at the wrong account? Are we even friends on the good account? Let's see. We should be, because I definitely have sent you shit.
Jaded Nico.
Yes. It says you were last online 2 weeks ago, Elsabeth99.
Online right now.
Well, according to my Steam friends, you're a liar!
Which area are you? Which
Oh.
server region are you?
Wait. Yeah, that's right. I can do it that way. Okay. I'm, go back. Wait. Now I gotta reopen it. Hang on. Dang. Okay. Now it's going again. Boop. Host. Public. Host. I don't know where I am, but
You don't know.
Go back. I think it's
I don't know how to tell what region I'm in or whatever. But it says Jaded Nichols Lobby. It's public lobby.
my game is almost ready.
Public. The password is B for butt. Lowercase b for a little butt.
All right.
We're set for short birds.
Hey. All right. Silver is asking if you're drinking tonight.
No. No. There will be no booze tonight for me. Thank you, thank you. Maybe cookies. Anyway, what I was
What?
saying was,
You're welcome, Silver.
I want to stud this quilted fabric, I think.
Mush mush.
Like where everywhere the quilt ad, I want to put like a stud. But it would have to be gold because the hardware is gold on there. Because that's all the loops I had were gold. Which I need to get silver ones. So that they match. But you know. Anyway. It's a drawstring bag. Come on, go. Hmm. Hubby's here. Oh. Let me see. I would like to decorate my balls.
You have so many hats.
I had more on the other one.
You need to sleep, Elsa.
That's okay, Barf. You know what? I'm gonna switch to crafts. I need to get a bag done anyway. You just switch it to crafts. Javi, play whatever you want. Do.
Okay, I'm gonna retry my my game.
Okay. I'm going to probably do a bag or maybe Lego. But either way, I need to do a bag. But I'm not trying to decide.
What Lego do you have?
Oh, so many Legos. Oh, I just got black and blue roses.
Ooh.
Should I do some Lego? I also got a whole buttload of sets. Oh,
Ooh.
hello kitty.
That's so pretty.
Hello kitty cake.
I like the black roses.
Black rose. So I want to do I want to mix them together. So I want to do half black, half blue, and then mix the two of them together, and they'll be blue and black roses.
Nice.
So, should I Lego?
Yes.
I kind of just want to craft though. I need to sew. I don't want that camera on right now. My desk is full of acrylics.
Do some sewing.
I'm doing it. Makers and crafting. That's done. That's done. Instead, we will watch some YouTube.
There was an update for the game. That's why it was so slow. Gosh.
Oh. Exclamation
Okay.
char, please.
Shit. I closed it. Exclamation what?
Oh, Silver Nose.
Oh.
Oh, Elsa
Ah,
knows.
sure.
Elsa knows too! Okay, let me get the camera going for the sewing.
Breathing.
There's a bunch of shit I want to watch anyway. Oh, that's not the one. I wanted Charlotte first. Since I'm not a hero. Okay. Okay.
We're deciding if these brides are bridezillas or not. Am I the a-hole for wanting to end a friendship with one of my bridesmaids? All rise for the Honorable Judge Charlotte. So I, 32 female, and a friend, 51 female. Oh, big age difference. Interesting. Are not talking because of a text I sent her about being in my bridal party and her role. Am I overreacting by wanting to cut her out of my life entirely? It kind of started back in November of 2024 when her and two of our mutual friends were on a call and she casually mentioned that she wants to have a choreographed dance for the ceremony, and she was inviting her aunt from Indiana and cousin from Canada to my wedding. She wants to have a choreographed dance for your wedding and then wants to invite people who don't have an invite. I've never met either of these relatives. It kind of caught me by surprise, so I just laughed it off. We're having a small, intimate wedding. Our little friend group is 4 Kenyan girls, and back home, it's normal to have big weddings where random neighbors and people you don't know show up to celebrate with you. I kind of chalked it up to maybe that's what she was envisioning, but it definitely upset me and made me feel like she doesn't care and is making my wedding about herself. On top of that, my fiance and I don't come from much money. He's American. We're paying for everything ourselves and trying to stay below our budget. Fast forward to early February 2025, and I was picking out dresses for the bridal party. I sent it to her and one of our friends, 24 female, to get her opinion, and she said she would rather not wear a dress with a slit, so I picked a different dress. My maid of honor, 27 female, and I decided we should do a Zoom call with all the girls in the bridal party. During the call, she asked a few questions, but overall seemed disinterested in being there. The Kenyan girls and I all had a call afterwards, and she said she didn't like this new dress because she might lose weight, and then her arms would look flabby in the dress because it was a sleeveless cross-shoulder dress. Okay. You know, I have heard of brides just say, okay, you can wear whatever dress you feel comfortable in as long as it's this color, but it really is kind of up to the bride. Like if she wants all her bridesmaids to be wearing the same dress, it's kind of up to her. Doesn't really necessarily matter. And also, like, you're the bridesmaid. It's not meant to be something where you're showing off. Like, I'm sure she won't put you in a paper bag, but it's not like, I need to look like $1 million. Like, the day is not about you. And then she wanted to add a Kenyan dance to the wedding reception entrance. I mean, she can do that for her wedding. My face was loud at this point, so she said that she can hear what I'm thinking because it shows on my face. Also, at 3 different calls with our friends, she's mentioned she feels like she's too old to be in my bridal party. Not in those words, but that was the sentiment. Yeah, I mean, it kind of just seems like she's taking liberties, and it's one thing to like want to surprise someone at their wedding, but it's not really up to any of the bridal party to plan the wedding itself, as far as I know. know. So the fact that she's kind of like changing plans all the time, like what the bridal party's gonna wear, and like, I don't know, you kind of got to tell her. You can't just let her assume that this is okay. Maybe you have a big age difference. Maybe it's cultural. Maybe it's the age difference that this is normal or something. I don't know. But clearly there is a miscommunication happening, and you need to make sure that it's not about, you know, outshining you at your wedding or controlling your wedding or whatever. You need to tell her. After the Zoom call, I talked to my maid of honor, and she was basically like, if she doesn't like the dress, she needs to
I
suck
left,
it
and
up or
Elizabeth
decide if
left
she wants
too.
to be in the bridal party. There you go.
Her
That's the
husband
other
bothered
thing too.
her.
If she feels like she's too old, she doesn't like the dress, then she doesn't need to be in the bridal party. She can come as a guest and wear whatever she wants. Not whatever she wants, but you get my drift. After reflecting, she was like, actually, she has a valid concern since it's a body image thing. I decided I wanted to have a conversation about her role in the wedding and maybe figure out if the bridesmaid role was what made the most sense to her. Maybe she would feel more comfortable as like a cultural coordinator or something else, where she could wear whatever she wanted to and add the cultural components to the wedding that I might not know about because I grew up in the US. I think that's fair. That's a good idea.
Brilliant.
So this is the text exchange that happened last week, and she's not responded to any of my calls or texts and refuses to talk to me. At the same time she was texting me, she was texting my best friend, who's also my matron of honor, 33 female, and is in our little Kenyan friend group, to tell her how she feels about the whole situation. My BFF advised her to talk to me and not assume the worst and wait until she talks to me to find out what's going on. I feel like I'm dealing with someone with poor communication skills at her big age,
I am a baby. I'm a baby now.
who doesn't care enough about me to assume good intentions. I mean, you're also kind of telling her that you don't want her in the bridal party. So from her side of things, it's like maybe you're kind of demoting her. I don't know. I could also see her being upset if it wasn't like clearly communicated or whatever. I understand that you're trying to like make her feel included and like give her
shared it
a
in
role
the
that like
Discord.
suits her, but at the same time, you're also telling her that you don't want her to be in your bridal party. So you think you're dealing with someone with poor communication skills who doesn't care enough about me to assume good intentions and assume the best in me before making a decision like this. Also, this is a lot of drama. I avoid drama like the plague, which is probably why all this stuff has built up. This is the first time I've tried to set a boundary with her, and it seems like our friendship could not survive a basic conversation about my boundaries for my wedding. Also, today I noticed that she left the bridesmaids group chat last week. This is the thing. I actually
just
watched a
made the note.
TikTok the other day. I think it was on the Mel Robbins podcast about the drama between bridal parties. This is exactly why I am not having a bridal party, okay? It is one of my very controversial decisions in my wedding. And essentially on this podcast, I forget who the guest was, but she goes on to say that bridal parties are kind of where you put your friendship choices and who you regard as a better friend on display. You choose a maid of honor, you know, a matron of honor, and even in the way that you intentionally kind of put the maid of honor next to you at the altar, and then like each person becomes less of a good friend. Even giving someone the role of wedding MC is kind of like saying, well, I consider you a friend, but not a good enough friend to speak about me at my wedding and have a speech and regard you as a maid of honor. You know what I mean? Or a bridesmaid. Obviously, there's obvious choices, like, you know, if your sister is your maid of honor and then it's a moot point, but like you are kind of putting your friendships on display. And I think that the hierarchy of friendships does hurt people's feelings. I'm just saying. Let's read the text messages. Hey R, I hope you're having a great evening. I wanted to touch base with you and make sure we're on the same page about the wedding and everything. I was wondering if you have time to talk about your role in the wedding. Please let me know when you're free to talk this week so we can set some time aside for a video call. She responds, tomorrow evening. I have a few events for work in the evening, but I have time afterwards. Do you want to do 9 p.m. New York time? Sure, I hope I remember. It's 8 p.m. my time. Is this about the dress, the makeup, or the dancing? My dearest little sis, I'm writing this with a heavy heart. I did not sleep well last night. I have cried about this. This is not your handwriting. I know how you frame your words to me, and if this is really you, then you have changed. You know, I work with words, meanings, connotations. This message I would expect from my manager when I'm not up to my role. A meeting would mean putting me back in my place. I understand that what she was doing was a little bit frustrating, but I kind of also wish that you maybe talked to her before deciding that you didn't want her to be a bridesmaid. I would have expected an informal tone the way that you speak to me, and I would have listened like I always do. I'm sorry if anything I said on Friday caused you grief. You know me, I always want my little sister and my adopted brother to have the best of everything. This hasn't changed. To help make it easier, I've decided I won't have a role in your wedding. I love you and I always will. You'll always be my little sister. Be calm as you make plans for the big day. It will be a fantastic one. Interesting. Oh my god, hey R, I'm so sorry you couldn't sleep last night. I think a lot has been lost in translation because because we're texting. I think you should wait to make a decision this big until after we talk tonight. I want you to be a part of our wedding. Maybe we have to figure out what you are most comfortable with. Either way, you're forever part of my family, and I want you at our wedding. Hey, hun, let me know when you're free. She's calling, not answering texts, and she removed herself from the bridal party group chat. So she knows what's about to happen. I think from her perspective, she's trying to help. And I can also tell by the way that she wrote her messages that she's sorry for what she said. She apologized. That's big of her. And she doesn't even know really why you've made the decision you have. This is a tough one. Like, I don't want to say that you're a bridezilla, but I also feel like you could have communicated better when there were kind of miscommunications where, you know, she wanted a different dress or incorporate some of your culture into your wedding. I think that you could have set a boundary then. It doesn't need to be this thing that kind of builds up and it's like, you're trying to take over my wedding or whatever. Like, I think that you could also just state a boundary in the moment rather than letting it fester and then removing her from the bridal party entirely. Because that, like, I could see how that would.
Mother,
We're
blah,
building the
blah,
most
blah,
helpful
blah.
AI,
Oh, are
so
you?
you can inspect.
Would hurt her feelings for sure. I also love that she pointed out that, like, dude, you're kind of writing this as if this is a business email. I cannot stand it. When you're in conflict, oh my God, this is like literally like pet peeve, like major ick. When people deal with conflict, the way that they deal with like firing someone or like a work colleague, like they're speaking to you like in a professional manner. And you can tell that like they've kind of crafted their text in a way that like is clear and concise in the same way that, you know, you would write and edit like a work email to make sure you're not being rude and you're clear and concise. But at the same time, it's so impersonal when people do that. I don't know. There's something about it that's like, dude, we're friends. Like, why don't you just like talk to me? You know? Also, the fact that the bride said, oh no, we need to have like a chat. Let's schedule like a meeting to discuss this. It feels like you're getting fired.
Not gonna work here anymore anyway.
Like, it feels like you need to schedule time in order to have a conflict rather than just being friends and talking on the phone. I don't know. It's just weird. It's weird to me. Does anybody else feel that way sometimes with conflict? It's so impersonal that they treat it almost as if it's like a business transaction or like they're reprimanding you at work. I totally get where this girl's coming from, and it might be unpopular opinion, but I actually really do get it. Let's look at some of the responses. Because, like, I think I do have a feeling that this is a bit bridezilla-ish. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sorry. I don't like to throw that word around. But I do think that there could have been some clearer communication and just frank communication as friends throughout all of this. You know, Bride is kind of saying that her friend has poor communication skills, but I actually think that when faced with kind of this like strange message that essentially told her that she doesn't want her to be in her bridal party, I think that she clearly communicated and apologized and told her how she felt. And I actually don't think that the bridesmaid is the one with the communication problem. I actually think it's the bride.
What a twist!
You could have taken
tweets.
10 seconds to add a few sentences and tell her what the call would be regarding. It's so easy for people, especially people with anxiety, to read that message and assume she's being kicked out. Saying you need to talk about her role, but not... It totally is something like a boss would say. But not telling her exactly what it is leaves you with the upper hand and her stewing in questions. Especially if the call isn't going to be on the same day. That's not fair. Totally. And like, listen, I've totally been in this position before where I can always tell this particular person that I'm thinking of, whenever she wants to have like a frank conversation, she always tries to like schedule it. It's so weird. It's like, why don't you just pick up the fucking phone and call me, babe? Just call me. We're friends. Oh my God, I totally agree. And like, I have to admit, when I read those messages, I get really scared because it's like, we're about to have like a disagreement and conflict and we're gonna have to communicate. And then I start thinking all these things and like thinking the worst and stuff. Like, it's so unnecessary to do it like that. You guys are friends. Pick up the phone and call each other.
You got that?
Agreed, she's right. This is much too formal for a friendly text. Definitely, if you talk to me like you're HR, I'm gonna assume I'm in trouble. Good. I totally agree. I'm so glad this is the top comment. It shows how not liking drama and avoiding it like the plague don't actually accomplish avoiding interpersonal drama at all. Listen, not liking drama, I feel like, is also another term for conflict avoidant, which isn't always healthy. And this is coming from someone who has issues with conflict.
Amen, sister.
And I know it's not healthy, and believe me, I have felt the stress of how unhealthy it is. But yeah, in knowing that and being self-aware, it's kind of like, why let it fester? Why Why not just like say things in the moment? And you don't have to get mad, you know, you don't have to start confrontations in the moment, but you can just be like, yeah, I don't know, honestly, like that's a really good idea, but like not for my wedding. You don't have to kind of like let it fester like that. Like even the dress thing, that's just like, I understand it's annoying to have to change the dress or whatever.
We've been
You know,
speckled
at the end of the day,
on.
she's not comfortable in it. Maybe you could allow her to wear something that she is comfortable in. It's really not a friendship ending thing. Facing potential sources of conflict with bravery and compassion are a better start, I think. One of my best friends is so good at communicating, and you could tell that she's coming from like a place of love. Like she leads with love when she's having these like conflicts. Even when she's confronting me, she kind of has like this tone about her that's just like, I really love you a lot, and you know, it kind of upset me when you said this, and I'm very receptive to that because like I don't want to hurt her or say something that could be misconstrued as something that I said to hurt her or whatever, and it ends up being a miscommunication anyway, and we talk it out and we get closer. I actually think that conflict is an opportunity for you to get closer with the right person, so don't like avoid it. It's impossible to avoid conflict. Just because there's conflict in your life does not mean that there's drama and all this shit. It doesn't mean you're a magnet for drama. I think that the drama is when you go and you make it a big deal instead of just like confronting it in the moment. I'm sorry, I'm getting very passionate about this, but this is how I feel. I think we all need to get better at, you know, saying how we feel in a moment, stating the facts, and leading with love. And then if they act like a defensive cunt, then we can get mad. Then and only then can we get mad and petty. You did come off as a manager setting up a disciplinary meeting who texts like that. No, I know someone who texts like that, and it's always when there's like conflict. It feels very impersonal and strange, and it immediately evokes anxiety. If you're someone that, you know, handles conflict like that, you might feel like you're trying your best to communicate effectively. I think it causes more harm than good to treat conflict as if you're having like a disciplinary meeting. So are you a bridezilla? Kind of. I'm not gonna lie. You kind of hurt your friend's feelings, I think. I think we gotta communicate better. Just saying. Sorry. Am I the a-hole for cutting off my best friend of 15 years after our weddings? Next case. About a year ago, my best friend and I got engaged about 2 months apart. I've always known I didn't want a wedding ceremony or reception, but my fiance insisted. So I honored his wishes and started planning. At the same time, my friend was planning her wedding and asked me to be her maid of honor. Typically, that role comes with planning the bachelorette party, so I found myself knee-deep in organizing that as well. Then she asked me to throw her a combined wedding shower and housewarming party. All of this coming out of my own pocket while I was also planning and paying for my own wedding and honeymoon. Ooh.
The audacity.
All right, this whole tradition of the maid of honor and bridal party paying for shit, I know that it's a thing, but like, I don't think it's fair. If the bridal party wants to gift that to you, then that's one thing, but asking for that as a bride it's asking a lot. On top of that, I was expected to buy a dress from a specific website, name brand shoes, and get professional hair and makeup done for her wedding day. I estimate I spent around $2,000 on her wedding events. The other bridesmaids offered to chip in for supplies more than once, but never actually followed through. Ooh. I chose not to have bridesmaids because I didn't want my friends to assume the financial burden of being in a bridal party. It's crazy how being involved in weddings not only teaches you what you will and will not tolerate, but it also teaches you how to be a better bride, I think. Because you saw the way that things went wrong, you saw the things that hurt people's feelings, you saw the things that made the day better. I'm taking like bits and pieces of like advice and things that I've learned in doing all these videos, and I'm incorporating them into my own wedding. It's helpful, actually. I'm kind of grateful I'm one of the last of my friends to get married because like I made some good decisions. I think, anyway. We'll see how the day actually pans out, but I think I made some good decisions. My plan was to have a small ceremony with immediate family, followed by a reception with all of our loved ones at the same venue. My friend never offered to help me throw a wedding shower or bachelorette party, which I understood because she wasn't in the bridal party. But then again, no one was. What a bitch. I'm sorry. You had to throw her a bachelorette party and she didn't do anything for you, regardless of whether or not you had a bridal party or not? Ooh, I don't like it. She was well aware she was my best friend. This wasn't the first time in our friendship I felt I was the only one putting in effort while she simply received. Ooh, been there. The red flags begin. Flash forward to her wedding shower and housewarming party. After all the planning, purchases, and decorations set up for 75 guests, Only 3 people showed up. To make matters worse, she spent the entire time entertaining those 3 while barely acknowledging me. I understood she was likely upset about the turnout, but it didn't excuse how she dismissed my presence. After all, of all the 75 invited guests, I was the one who showed up. What does that tell you about her? I'm just saying. I was the one who planned it. I was the one who paid for it, set it up, attended, and cleaned up afterward. Dude, you're being way too nice. Like, come on, dude. Stand up for yourself. After someone treated me like that, I'd be like, well, fuck you. You fucking clean then. Especially the cleaning. Oh my God. Like, before you didn't know how she would have felt about you, but after, is there a possibility that she blamed you for the fact that no one showed up? Ooh. It's always the people, like, that don't have a lot of friends that seem to treat their remaining friends badly. And it's like, oh, this is why you don't have friends. Got it. I even got them a gift from their registry. It felt like I was nothing more than a free event planner, caterer, and host. That's because that's what you are, babe.
Yikes.
Then came her bachelorette party. Luckily, this time people actually showed up. But again, I felt more like an unpaid coordinator than a cherished friend. It felt like she saw my efforts as an obligation rather than a gift from a best friend. The next morning, our mutual friend and I got up early, cleaned everything, and packed up the cars while she stayed asleep in the common space where she could hear us. We were literally popping balloons. When we woke her up to say goodbye, all we got was a half asleep, half-hearted thank you. The wedding. 2 weeks before her wedding, I told her I'd cleared my schedule to help with any last-minute planning. This meant driving 45 minutes to her place. Twice to help out. On the day of her ceremony, a Friday, meaning I had to use paid time off, she barely spoke to me but still expected me to have everything handled. And I did. No major issues, just that same underlying feeling that I was being taken advantage of as her type A planner friend. Then it was time for my wedding. Oh, this one hits deep. I know exactly what's about to happen. A moment of silence for the dead friend. She's not dead, but to me she is.
Rip.
A mutual friend tried to plan a bachelorette party for me with her, but she didn't help. So we canceled it to avoid stressing out our mutual friend. In the weeks leading up to my wedding, that mutual friend and I met up multiple times to help finalize details. Meanwhile, my best friend never checked in. Holy shit. Did I write this? On my wedding day, she sent me a text. Is there anything I can help you with? I mean, not anymore. Everything was already done. It was too little, too late. It just reinforced the feeling that I was an afterthought, that she only reached out because she had to, not because she wanted to. At my reception, she realized she hadn't been invited to the ceremony and began crying. Seriously? She proceeded to cry for most of the reception. And remember the gift I got her from the registry? Despite everything I was doing for both her wedding and mine, she got us a card with cash. Which, I mean, sure, I'm not ungrateful, but at that point, the sentiment mattered so much more to me. I prefer cash, to be honest. I prefer that people don't bring, like, stuff to my wedding, but it's up to the bride and groom, really, but yeah. And she didn't even include a heartfelt note. Ooh, that's even worse. Yeah, at the very least, a card, you know? She did come to congratulate me while sobbing and later spoke with our mutual friend who told her that whatever concerns she had needed to wait until after my honeymoon. Okay, so she made the wedding about her. She didn't get you even a nice card. I mean, at least she did get you cash. But I can understand where at this point you're kind of judging everything she does. She didn't listen. The final straw. At 2 a.m. on my wedding night, she sent me a long paragraph about her feelings, her confusion, and her desire to fix our relationship. Oh, fuck me, dude. Nothing fucking worse. I swear to God. Ugh. A friend that somehow made a special day about you, about them, by making a scene, by crying, by, like, you know, making it about them, the long paragraphs. Like, the fact that she could not wait to tell you this proves that she was more concerned with her own feelings than she was with, like, making sure you had a good wedding.
Story of my life.
That is the least she could have done.
You like my crow, baby?
At that point, I was done. I told her we'd talk after I got back from my honeymoon. While I was away, I gained clarity. I realized I didn't see a point in talking things through because the root issues had been there for years. That's the tea. And I couldn't get past the fact that she thought it was acceptable to send me that message on my wedding night. It was yet another moment where her feelings took priority over my experience. It's been 4 months since I cut her off. Am I the a-hole? No. I mean, listen, she's probably, like, so confused and she wants to work on your friendship. But if she cared at all about your friendship, I'm sorry, but, like, at 2 a.m. on your wedding night, you're sending a text like that? That is, like, diabolical.
Diabolical.
I mean to communicate my feelings.
seriously?
Oh,
It didn't
there's a
really
bunch of new
sound like she
emotes, by
had
the
very
way,
good
fam.
friends to
Go check
begin
'em
with,
out.
and she didn't value you at all. I see this a lot in friendships. It is actually very common to have friendships where there's
I
one
genuinely
person
don't
giving
know how
more than
one
they're
of them
getting.
passed,
And you'll
but
especially
okay.
kind of notice like issues with the friendships when
This
it
one.
becomes your own
love
time
it.
to shine as the giver. You'll notice like a dynamic shift, right? When you get married,
Look
you
at that.
get engaged, you're pregnant, you lose
Very
weight. That's a
clearly
big
wink
one.
wank.
It's almost like this like
Right?
dynamic shift brings out the worst
How?
in people. It really just shows you that you weren't friends
Bro,
really to begin with.
Yep.
Not the a-hole she
This one
used, you plain
passed.
and simple.
This
Your
one
wedding night
passed.
message was the ultimate proof of her selfishness. That
Uh-huh.
is so unbelievably
Oh,
selfish.
I got this one 'cause
Do
I
not,
loved it,
under
and it was
any
funny.
circumstances, bring a problem to the bride on her wedding day. For fuck's sakes,
Slap a
it
peach.
can fucking wait. Your wedding day is supposed to be so happy.
Right?
You
But
do
no-
not need any unnecessary conflict
idea.
on
But
your
not the
wedding
boobies
day.
one?
And if you bring the
But
bride
not boobies.
unnecessary conflict,
Not
die.
boobies. What
even if you're saying
the
that
fuck?
you want to communicate and mend your friendship,
You die.
that is
Yeah.
not actually mending your friendship. It's making it worse, and you're making it about you, and you're taking away her right to have a
Okay,
good
I'm
day.
done with the tiara.
Just
It's
one
starting to
day.
hurt.
Our bride's not entitled to one day. God. Let's look at the update. We have a small update from OP. After the wedding, I had a realization of the common theme that everything is always about her, no matter what the situation is. I threw her a birthday party with decorations and a plan for the evening. And then at my party, she and a mutual friend planned 2 weeks later, she acted distant, distracted, and left by 10 p.m. when it was a planned sleepover. We had our high school graduation party 6 years ago, and she was unenthused then as well. She didn't do anything for my college graduation, but expected me to attend a dinner for hers and watch the live stream during COVID. By the time my master's degree graduation rolled around last year, we had stopped having the opportunity to see each other in person as often. For her wedding shower, I created a Facebook event, and she and her fiance were supposed to invite their guests to. They wound up inviting 75 people and posting on their personal pages, inviting anyone in their friends list, which made accounting RSVPs more difficult. As a person who has the mindset that I would rather provide more than enough at an event than not enough, it resulted in a need for us to purchase more supplies than originally anticipated. But we thought that their closest friends and family would attend at least. Although in the past her family was not the ones to show up for her, it was always me. I thought this would be a big enough life event for them to show up for her. It's not that I had
Y'all, if you are
$2,000 laying
watching
around.
me on
It
the
was
other
that I was financially
platforms,
prepared
I
in the months
mostly
leading
pay
up to
attention
both
to
of our
the
wedding
Twitch
centric
chat.
events. I previously mentioned I
can
didn't want a
see the
wedding, but my
TikTok
fiance
one,
did.
so
Given that fact, I knew
hey.
what I did and didn't want to overspend
But
on my
I
own wedding.
cannot
And for portions
see
of her
the
parties,
YouTube
others
one,
had
I
committed to
cannot
help
see
pay
the
and didn't.
Instagram
I never
one, I
expected her to
cannot
spend an
see the
equivalent
Facebook
amount on my
one.
celebrations, but I did hope she
So.
would invest the same amount of
And any
care
other
and
that
would want
the
me to
kids
feel
hooked
as
it up
loved
to,
and
'cause I
celebrated
fucking
as
don't
I
know.
hoped I could make her feel. The bachelorette party she and mutual friend were going to throw were just for the three of us and wouldn't have been costly. The motto I've always kept in mind for my friendships is friends do for friends. She's tried to meet up a few times, and since I already been pondering everything that led up to this point, I feel we've already reached the natural end to the friendship, and I never responded to her requests to meet up. We haven't had a conversation since early December, and honestly, I felt fine. See, the thing about rehashing things and opening things up is that, like, once you kind of like have this realization that you're not friends anymore, everything starts to become really, really clear. And it's years and years. You have these flashbacks of all of these things. It's just like, wow. You start thinking about all the things that you brushed under the rug and, you know, dismissed the red flags. And then it's not just about the one thing that you're upset about anymore. It's actually about the friendship as a whole. That there are years and years and years of indiscretions. Like, you cannot possibly sit down and have a conversation with that person when it's a friendship ending thing like this and communicate to a point where you guys are friends again. It's over. Friends forever, all this shit. You don't have to be friends forever, especially when that friendship is toxic and when your friends are not treating you well. You don't have to be friends forever. We're in relationships, and when we don't like the person anymore and they don't treat us well, we leave, right? Most of the time. You can do that for friendships too. So are you a bridezilla? Honestly, no. It's fine. Whatever. She's probably hurting and she probably thinks you're a bridezilla, but like, who cares? Siscat!
Some people aren't worth fretting over. Bursa
I can
Burp
order
is right.
contacts and
Y'all, it is what it is sometimes, and you just gotta remember, life moves on. They're just, move on. Move on. Move on. Okay, here.
Mother-in-law is going to Am I the a-hole for telling my wife her parents are not allowed to ever watch our son again? My wife and I have a 2-year-old son and have been married for 4 years. Our anniversary was a month ago, and we found a nice, secluded cabin on Airbnb and rented it out for a long weekend getaway. My wife asked her parents if they would be willing to watch our son, and they agreed, as long as we dropped him off at their house. That worked since it was on our way anyway. I was raised Lutheran, and my wife was raised Catholic, but neither of us currently go to church and have not had our son baptized. My mother-in-law knows this and hates it.
We watched it. The mother-in-law forcefully baptized a baby. We're on this one.
These are some mother-in-laws that
Wait,
found
what?
the audacity.
Yep. But it turns out the wife was in on it.
Oh.
Am I overreacting for not wanting my eyes permanently on my boyfriend's arm? Okay. So he wants to get a tattoo of your eyes. You must have some really nice eyes. Me and my boyfriend have been together for 3 years and we are both 19. He seriously wants to get my eyes tattooed on him, and he's been raving about it for almost a year. I feel mean for saying no and that I'm overreacting, but am I? I'm so stuck in between just letting him or sticking to plain no. I'm also tempted to say yes because, not bragging, but my eyes are definitely one of my favorite features since my ethnicity is kind of rare and I want to see it tattooed. But this is more a commitment thing for our relationship, in my opinion. I would say, and I feel very strongly about this, I don't have any tattoos. I have my eyebrows microbladed, which is pretty close to a tattoo, but it fades over time, so do most tattoos. And I have like a lip blushing, so like kind of a lip tattoo. I can't say I would ever want anything permanently on my body, let alone a relationship that has, you know, even if you get married, a 50% chance of failing. But let's look at this text message conversation. Babe, quickly. The tattoo artist got back to me and said he would be able to do it in mid-May. Oh, okay, so he's doing it. Dude, no, quit bringing this up. What pictures did you even send him? You never asked me for any. That's kind of blurry. How did it even come out so clear if you zoomed in? I don't know, and yeah. What if we break up and you have my eyes staring into your soul? I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say, I think that you are uncomfortable with this because you don't know if you want to be with this guy forever. Just saying.
You're psychic?
Which is fair. It's a big commitment. That's permanent. You can't get rid of tattoos unless there's very
Yes, you can.
painful laser
You
techniques
can.
to get it off.
You can cover them. You can get it
He
lasered.
says crying laughing emoji. No, but seriously, this isn't something you should be getting when we are this young. If we were married, okay, but not at this age and stage. It's kind of a big step. I know we've been each other a good while, but you know what I'm getting at? I mean, I do. I agree with you. You're being way too dramatic about this. Loosen up, darl. It's a way for me to show my appreciation for you. Get her flowers. Get her some nice jewelry. Okay, your eyes are very cool. I will say that. They are very mesmerizing. I can feel your apprehension through these text messages. But I'm also very risk averse, and like, I don't have any tattoos. None. I think they're cool, don't get me wrong, but I personally can't picture myself being in love with any tattoo for the rest of my life.
Commitment issues.
I change my hairstyle like every 2 weeks. Let's see what the comments said. Low-key understandable, my initials on my boyfriend's hand, and I love him for that, and I love the tat. However, I'd feel super bad if anything happened between us, because then it's stuck on him forever.
No,
I
it
almost feel
isn't.
like in getting a
Y'all are
tattoo of
stupid.
like someone's
Y'all are
name or
stupid.
something, or their
Y'all are
face or
stupid.
whatever, someone you're dating,
Y'all
I
are
feel like
stupid.
that's just a surefire way for it to fail.
Y'all are stupid.
It's like you're jinxing it. You're saying that you're gonna be
I
with this person
don't
forever,
agree.
and you won't
I
ever
don't think you
regret
should put
this?
somebody's name on your body except like your kids, because your kids are gonna always be your kids.
My comment for I'll also I don't put names on, but that's personal choice preference. I will never put a name on me, even not permanently tattooed. No, I'll do a thing symbolizing for Alice and everything, like, but actual names and words and shit like that, that's not my jam. I don't.
Right.
But me calling them stupid is because they're like, no, you're stupid. No, you fucking aren't. No, you aren't. I had a horrendous, massive tribal tattoo where those roses are. Those really nice roses. You can't even fucking see that shit anymore. I had a horrendous, ugly, bleeded out, fucking tribal, like, bullshit. And I had it on there for you. You can cover them. You can cover a tattoo. you can get it laser removed.
Right, but
Stop
she
acting
doesn't
like it's
have
the end of the.
tattoos,
No.
so-
But she's acting in the way they're saying is like, oh my god, it's like calm the fuck down. It's a tattoo. You can have them removed. You can have them covered. Like stop acting like, oh my god, holy shit. Calm down. It's like getting your hair cut or an earring. You can take it out. Relax. The hair grows back. You can have tattoos removed. You can have them covered. It ain't a big deal. If you can handle the tattoo, you can handle the removal. Like, dude.
Right.
Ridiculous. Calm down, Mary. Hey, what if we break up? So
Not a
what?
great plan.
Didn't Johnny Depp get a tattoo of Winona Ryder? Like he got Winona on his arm and then he had to get it like filled in and altered when they broke up. So now it says Wino. Yeah, it said Winona forever. And now I'm pretty sure it says Wino forever or just Wino. My brother had a portrait of his wife on his arm. He caught her cheating and they got divorced. He went in and had the tattoo reworked and turned it into a Dia Los Muertos girl. Okay, so like a skull.
Covered, color.
Day of the Dead? Yeah. So you turned her into like a scaredy skull lady. My dad got his ex-wife tattooed on him, and when she cheated, he got it reworked into a Grim Reaper's skull type of thing. Dude, I'm telling you, it's doomed to fail. It's doomed. Who cares? Let him get it. I mean, if y'all break up, it's not your problem, is it? If he points it out that it's your eyes, say, hell no, it's the eyes of insert random celebrity here and laugh about it. Yeah, but he would know. People getting initials, names, pictures, or whatever the that have resemblance of their partner are just stupid. Even married people, you should never get a tattoo like that. I totally agree. I'm good on the tattoo front. Like, I really am.
I
And
get
not
tattoos
because
of
I don't
things
think
I like.
tattoos are cool. I actually really like a lot of tattoos. Knowing how I am and knowing that, like, I change, like, styles, like, hairstyles, nail
just got this
colors, like, my makeup routine, I'm
Hollow
constantly
Knight.
changing. I could never think to have something
Right?
permanent.
Stained
I don't know, maybe
glass,
that'll change.
Hollow
Maybe,
Knight.
you know, maybe my dad will die.
Right? I love Hollow Knight and it's stained glass.
I
Right?
know this might happen eventually. He
This
is
is
not immortal, but
matchy
not
with
yet.
my bestie,
Maybe
Harley Quinn,
something really
Poison
tragic
Ivy.
will happen, and
We
I
have
will want
opposite
some sort of
colored
reminder
diamonds.
or something, and I'll
Like-
change my opinion. But as of right now, I live a very, very
I
sheltered, privileged
buy
life. I can't do
art
it. I want to be able to shapeshift,
from
and I can't do
artists
that if I have a
that
tattoo.
make
Okay, so are
me
you overreacting? I think that this indicates
feel
that he
happy
maybe wants to be with you
representations
forever,
of
and
my
maybe
family
you
and my
don't
friends
want
and
to
my
be with
people
him
that I love.
forever.
Like,
I
I'm
don't
getting
blame
a-
him because you got some pretty
squirrel,
peepers
a
on you,
raccoon,
honey.
and a
Those are some
possum
pretty peepers. Vibe
doing
or
some fucked up
sauce.
shit around a
Keep us
fire that I keep
updated.
telling
So
the girls to
Charlotte,
take
is she
notes of. I
overreacting?
want it tattooed.
Crazy.
They're gonna be like
Why don't you brush your hair?
standing
Why don't you
around a
take care of
bonfire
yourself?
like the shirt that we got already.
5 months, your fault.
Only the proper dudes,
Am I
though.
overreacting for being hurt?
Okay.
My girlfriend doesn't care about my graduation.
Let me at her. Let me at her.
Wait for the story. Wait for the
Stupid
story.
sexy
In a few days,
slander.
I'm gonna graduate with my BSN. What is a BSN?
But sex, no, Louise.
Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Even
Butt
I
sex.
knew that.
I don't want a
Can you
big
hear me now?
celebration at all, but
Is
it's
that
still
better?
a big accomplishment for me. True. You don't
me
need to
see.
justify that.
Wow.
I get she wants to think about
How
it
about
all
there?
realistically.
Wait,
and we
wait,
talked
wait,
about
wait,
that
wait,
when she
wait,
got
wait,
home.
wait.
But I
There.
feel bad now.
Better?
I've always congratulated her for her own achievements. And even though we'll
Okay.
still be stretched for time, still be parents, etc., this is a big step in both our lives. What time do you get home from work tonight? Around 8? Why? I was just wondering if we could, like, go over some plans. Plans for what? Plans for my graduation. Yeah, sure, but why? What do you mean? What plans do you have for your graduation, lol? I mean, nothing special, of course. I'm gonna stop you right there. Nothing special? You have been conditioned to believe that you don't deserve to be celebrated, young man, and I don't
That's
want
a,
that for you. I'm just excited. Once I graduate,
Choices.
so much changes, you know? Yeah, obviously, but not for a long time. Our time eases up a lot, though. Of course, it won't transform our life or whatever, but, like, we won't be as stressed, and you know that. Not really, to be honest. I still have to work. We still have to watch, I'm assuming, a child's name all the time. Honestly, I don't care about your graduation that much. I beg your finest pardon, madam. That was a bombastic side eye. I'll let you go out with your friends if you want to. Oh, wow, thanks. Oh, I'll let you go out with your friends. My goodness. I think we got a little narc on
The
our hands. I'll
ass.
let you go out.
The
Is she gonna let you out of your
audacity.
cage there, bud? What?
Buddy.
I don't think you should be happy at all. Oh, my goodness. Be so for real right now. Girl,
What the
bye.
fuck?
Bye.
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 Yeah.
What? So you're saying I shouldn't be happy after 4 years of work? Maybe I'm confused, but I don't know. All I'm saying is I don't really care that much personally. I'll let you be happy. I won't stop you. We celebrated your graduation, though. Yeah, we did, but I didn't waste time like you did. You know I want you happy, but we have to be realistic. Like I said, you can celebrate with your friends, but in my opinion, it's nothing special. Sounds like to me that you are in a relationship with someone that does not celebrate you.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing if people don't like to celebrate in general, but she likes to be celebrated. At least she doesn't not like to be celebrated. But when it comes to celebrating you,
Try
she
marrying
doesn't
one.
think it's a big deal. I think in life, and partially like one of the reasons
Try
why
marrying
I
one.
love Mike so much is because I do feel like very much celebrated and supported. When things are going wrong, he gets me flowers. Like I'll always come home to like beautiful flowers just because. It's just like a little thing. I can think
Brag
of like
less,
a few times
please.
where some really amazing things have happened.
Brag
and
less,
he's been
please.
incredibly excited for me. I think it's super important to surround yourself with not only people who are there to support you when things are going badly, but also people who are there to celebrate your wins. I don't love this. I'm not gonna lie. A graduation, a Bachelor of Science in nursing, is a very, very hard thing to achieve. Any sort of degree is difficult. Like it's very, very difficult. And it takes a lot out of you. And it's super important.
Love you
And I'm
too,
sorry that
bitch.
your girlfriend does not feel that way. Or she's trying to make you feel like you're not important. I don't think you're overreacting. I think that this is kind of relationship ending shit for me. If Mike said this to me, this is a red flag. Like, this is a major red flag. This is not something where you look back and think, oh yeah, that was kind of like sketch. It's right there in black and white. Well, gray and white and black. All right, let's look at the comments. What is NOR? This is my first time venturing into this subreddit. Nor. I'm just reading it nor. I don't think you should be happy at all. It's a concerning way to word that. She seems like she's downplaying your accomplishment. She absolutely 100% is. Either to make herself feel better or to make you feel not as great. Congratulations, by the way. It does take dedication and hard work to graduate. My husband gets home from work, and if he fixes a small issue with his PC, I tell him how smart he is and how he does great. I don't understand not celebrating the small wins, let alone something as big as your graduation. I wouldn't even say this to a friend or a stranger. It's a big deal, and you deserve to be happy and to celebrate. We, as partners, need to be good about celebrating the wins. Life is not about just like one struggle after another. If life isn't about celebrating, then what the hell is it even for? Like, literally, are we just supposed to hate life our whole lives and just go from one problem to another? No.
Yes.
We're supposed to celebrate. Being alive is great, and accomplishing things is great. It's clear from the comments that this is actually quite a common experience. Partners just kind of downplaying your achievements, not being excited for you. I don't know, man. It's one thing if a frenemy isn't excited for your achievements. It's an entirely different thing if your life partner isn't excited for you. It's
At
a
all.
deal breaker in my
Ever.
opinion. I didn't have to say it. This person
Perpetuates
said it. Jumping
it.
on the top comment
Allowed
section,
it.
See this? OP, your girlfriend is a
Defended
a
it.
word, okay? 'Cause
Defended
we
it.
can't have that in the video, but just letting you know. And they're right. This is a characteristic of someone who is an A word, not a-hole, the other A word, also interchangeable. Going through your post history, your girlfriend, oh, can't say that. Based on this person's post history, I guess there's other signs that she's an A word. Yeah, no, you're not overreacting at all. This is 100% a red flag. And guys, if anybody treats you like this, especially a close friend or a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a wife or a husband, it's not normal. I'm sorry, it's not. It might be common, but it's not normal. I'll just say that. Okay, Pumpkin?
It shouldn't be
Okay.
common
So, is he
because it's
overreacting?
fucked up.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be common. Oh, did you hear about the reverse daddy issues?
I mean, takes
No.
one to know one. Am I overreacting?
So the reverse
for not
daddy
quitting
issues
the
theory
gym
is
because
Pause.
my
like
boyfriend told me
a
to?
girl's dad will come get her in the rain at, for work. So what, you know, she does. Her dad does the things. So when she has a boyfriend, she expects him to do the same things. Like if she's needs help, he comes and helps her, or she has, you know, a flat tire and can't get it off, he comes and helps her instead of telling her to call, you know, and it's, or pays for dinner or pays for lunch. It's the because, you know, like like girls have daddy issues is because their dad wasn't there. So the reverse is their dad was there and their dad shows them the kind of man that they should have.
Uh-huh. That's weird.
She,
It's like those boy moms. Boy moms that go too far. Like, I'm fine with what was happening in Cedrus now, but it gets a little sketch and too far. Like, yeah, treat your daughter how she should be treated and everything, but the whole fucking family should be treating each other as an example to emulate. A positive, healthy relationship is something to emulate. So they should be growing up in a healthy, positive, relationship-based air that they can want for themselves and aspire for. And mine happens to contain about 6 women. It's hot.
Very hot.
Very, very, very spicy. But after spending a bunch of time with one, and getting charged up and then having it immediately drained out when he goes, was shocking to the system.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's because like everyone's like, oh, she has daddy issues. So it's she doesn't have daddy issues. She just wants a guy to be respectful to her and do the things, you know, that you expect of a healthy relationship.
I would expect him to treat our daughter that way, like positively healthy thing, but they should not be. I can't math them being that close together. Those are 2 different relationship sets. One's up, one's down, you know, like one's left, one's right. They should not be in the same basket because they are not the same kind of love. So it weirds me out.
Right, and that's the, like, because I was like, reverse daddy, what the fuck does that mean? And then, like, when they were talking about it, it made sense to me.
Like, it makes sense and I understand, but I think it goes a little bit too far into the gray area of unhealthy relationships with, you know, parents and things that start to blur into the incestuous stuff.
Right,
Blech.
right, I get, right, I get that. How about just be a decent human? Yeah, but most people nowadays aren't
be a decent human.
humans.
Be a decent human and expect decent humanity from them. Teach them to be a decent human by being a decent human, right? Like, that's, yeah. But don't be dating your children. That's fucking gross. Like, we go out and we do movies and stuff, but it's like normal bonding things. But don't give it weird fucking labels because then it starts to become weird. You should be bonding with your fucking children. That's not something that needs to be reminded or labeled. Like, duh! They're yours! You made them!
Right,
Fuck else are you gonna do with them?
There are parents that don't take care of their kids. There are...
Give them to me.
There are...
Give them to us. We want them.
fathers who don't take care of their kids, who aren't there for their kids during those events. There are mothers who are not there for their kids during those events.
Call us. We'll be your mommy for that event. Gross. Play. I love you.
Praying he doesn't see this, but anyway, my boyfriend has suddenly snapped and doesn't want me going to the gym anymore, and I can't figure out why. I can tell you why. Number 1, you're starting to look too good. And he's worried you're going to leave.
Oh, yeah, that might be. Because it's weird. Just the wording came off thick.
I do already have my dream body, but I don't want to quit. Does anyone have any ideas on why he suddenly switched up about me going to the gym, and am I doing too much by not quitting?
Dude,
this is some crazy controlling shit, but anyways, I'll read your text. Where are you? At the gym, nearly done. You're going quite often now. Babe, I've been going 3 times a week for ages now. Nothing has changed. I'd prefer if you stopped going. That is not happening. But why? Are you craving attention? I give you loads of it. Are you craving attention? Just because someone leaves the house does not mean they're craving attention.
Ooh,
who would I be
somebody's
craving
got
attention
insecurity.
off of? Those guys you work out with. Oh, okay. So remember what I said, that maybe he's jealous of someone at the gym? I was working out
Yes.
before they even joined in, so how did you come to that conclusion? You said you were fine with me having friends that are guys. I am. So what are you trying to say? So I want you to quit. So I want you to quit. Your stomach is flat and you've grown your glutes. What more do you want? Yeah, buddy, gym doesn't work that way. Just because you've gotten to your goal does not mean that you don't have to maintain it once you get there. 3 times a week is a very healthy amount to go to the gym.
Lightweight, baby!
And what do you think will happen if I stop going? Can you just freaking quit? It's starting to really irritate me. I can stop going as often with them guys if you want. No. I just want you to fully stop. Both things are going on here. He's jealous that you're going and you're working out with other guys. And he's also getting to a point where he sees how good you look and he's trying to
Insecure!
essentially keep you from getting better looking because he thinks that you're too good for him. As simple as that. It's the same kind of concept as like, you know that pickup artist book that like tells men to like, when they see like a hot woman, to like kind of make fun of them and like make them feel insecure because it brings them
Nagging.
down to their level. This actually worked on a friend of mine. She's a supermodel and that's how she met her husband. He like told her that her hair looked weird in a ponytail and then she went to the bathroom and put her hair down and then they got married.
That escalated quickly.
A literal supermodel, okay? This happened. It does, in fact, work. It doesn't work on me, but it does work, especially knowing that that's like a pickup artist thing. I just genuinely
Gross.
think that he's being controlling. Like, he doesn't want you to look better. He wants you to, like, not be confident, and he wants to control what you're doing. I don't
Yuck.
think you're overreacting at all. Why doesn't he work out with you? It'd be fun. Dude, WTF, throwing a weird ass tantrum about quitting a thing that everyone should be doing anyway and basically called you an attention whore. This is already bad enough, but it only gets worse from here. Don't talk to that dude anymore. Take all the men off your social media. Don't talk to any men when I'm not around. Unless you want to get to the point where he conditions you to think that stuff is normal, get out now. Literally. What they said. How you're actually entertaining it, even trying to meet him halfway by stopping to go with the guys, is beyond me. This is kind of what happens when you're in a controlling relationship though, right? Like, you want to keep the peace and you don't want to like make your partner feel bad, but they do a good job of manipulating you and making you feel bad. So I think that it happens a lot more often than you would think. You've got a boyfriend or a husband or, you know, even wives really that are trying to be controlling. Even the one in the last story was kind of being a little controlling. I just think that you just don't realize when you're in it. I'd laugh in his face and tell him I'm not changing shit, and if he's got a problem with it, he can break up with me. Nor. I'm assuming that means something like not overreacting. I'm just gonna go with nor. This dude is like hella insecure. He thinks she's gone out of his league and will realize it and start liking the attention she's gonna get from other dudes. Bingo. That's the ticket. So of course, instead of tackling this insecurity head on and improve himself to the point he doesn't feel threatened by imaginary men that don't exist, he tries to knock her down. It's common, it's not normal. So, are you overreacting? No. Dump his ass. Oh, we'll dump his ass. Not you. I wasn't talking to you. Talking to you. Sharkbot is like my alter ego. Am I overreacting? I broke up with my boyfriend after I caught him peeing in my kitchen sink. On Valentine's Day, my boyfriend came over in jeans and a sweatshirt. I asked him where we were going to eat dinner, and he said, I'm not sure. Where do you want to go? I was frustrated because although I wasn't expecting to go to a fancy restaurant, most restaurants require a reservation on Valentine's Day. Yeah. In fact, I don't really think that you can just go out on Valentine's Day. Most places are pretty much fully booked. So if you don't have plans, you're not gonna have plans. We ended up having a 2-hour conversation, which I told him I felt disrespected in the relationship. We ended the conversation with him being apologetic and saying he understood and that he would change. We went to dinner. He had 1 beer at dinner. We went back to my place and he watched a movie while I put away some clothes. The movie ends and we're getting ready to take a shower, but I realize I need to use the bathroom. I told him I would be right out. I closed the door and played some music so he wouldn't hear me going to the bathroom. I was in the bathroom all of 4 minutes, and I opened the door, and his pants are down, and he's peeing in my sink! Oh, that is some nasty shit. 4 minutes? Go outside, you're a guy. Even then, hold it. In the kitchen sink. Where do you think we are? I don't even know a place on Earth where that would be respectable or normal. We don't pee in the sink.
Are you sure about that?
He quickly pulls his pants up up and says I wasn't doing anything. Oh, he's done it before, bestie. He's done it before. I said, yes, you were. You just peed in my sink. I have contamination OCD. You don't need contamination OCD to think that that's disgusting. He knows this and said I was going to clean it up and you were never going to know. The fact that you even think that that's okay is like just vile. Ooh. I can't even find the words for what this is. Dutty. He's a dutty guy. Does he like not wipe too? Like what?
Yes.
Who taught him that this was okay? Because like, this is crazy. I didn't raise my voice or kicked him out. I cleaned my sink 4 times. I still feel like there's pee in my sink. 2 days later, I broke up with him. Am I overreacting? No. Dogs don't even pee in the sink. Dogs go outside. They're smart enough to know to not pee in the house nor the sink. Vile. That is disgusting. Nar. That's gross and highly disrespectful of you and your property. God, the kitchen too. Imagine that there's just like, I know you know what happens when someone pees in a toilet with the seat down. There's dribbles all over the place. There's dribbles all over your kitchen. Mark my words. It feels at least 10 times worse since he knows that you have contamination OCD. The fact that he thinks that doing things that would hurt your partner or breaking a boundary is okay as long as you never know is creepy and makes me lose all trust in him. He doesn't care what you want, and he also is just not a clean person. Like, that is just gross. He'll do what he wants in secret, and that makes it better. He honestly used that as an excuse too. There's no way I can imagine he genuinely expected you to go, oh, okay. I wonder if this was some sort of like weird psychological thing where he like got back at you. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into it. That's a very disrespectful thing to do. Is he just disgusting, or was that a way of like getting back at you? You have a fight with somebody and then you use their toothbrush to like clean the toilet or something. Like, does that make sense? Like, I don't know.
That's gross.
He's gross, disrespectful, without empathy, can't take responsibility for his mistakes, and tries to make you feel worse when he should just be trying to help you feel better because he messed up. I'm glad you got out early. This relationship was going to be miserable. Yes, I'm happy to hear that this is not a relationship that still exists. Okay, OP responds, it honestly felt intentional. Especially after us just having a conversation about disrespect. Yep. He was so embarrassed and apologetic, but when he said he was going to clean it up, and I would have never known, it made me lose all trust in him. And I think that without trust in a relationship, it's over. Yeah. This was my first thought as I was reading your post. That was intentional as payback for the conversation. Wow. Why would he even do that? Odd behavior. He said he had to go really bad. He had the entire time he was watching the movie to pause the movie to go to the bathroom. He could have knocked on the door and texted me if he had to go that bad. I told him he should have used the litter box or go outside. No, he could have asked. He genuinely could have asked. He could have gone outside. He could have held it. Okay, I'm picturing this in my head. You tell him that you need to go take a shower and that you're going to be a few minutes. In that time, he couldn't have said, oh, I really have to pee. Could I go pee first? He just all of a sudden had this rushing wave of I have to pee so badly that I'm willing to do it in the kitchen sink. Absolutely not. That does not happen.
How about a little bit?
It's not a immediate when I gotta go. It builds up. Are you overreacting?
Your boyfriend's fucking disgusting. No, absolutely not.
Thank you, Sharkbot.
You're welcome.
Back in the drawer.
No! No! Let me in! Save me!
Hashtag save Sharklot. Subscribe!
Beep. Next video. And then I'm gonna switch to spill because there's some
Mind my
banana shit.
Am I the a-hole for flipping out on my fiance for canceling all the vegan food options from our wedding food menu behind my back? My fiance, 31 male, and I, 25 female, are getting married soon. There wasn't much that we disagreed on during the wedding planning, except for food. Me and my family are vegans, and there are so many reasons why we chose this lifestyle, and one of them being that we have a history of health issues. My fiance and his family are the complete opposite. They're hardcore meat eaters, which is fine by me, obviously. Okay, good to know, good to know. Okay, so wait, so like you had both options, and he canceled them. Let's get some context. However, when deciding on the wedding food menu, I wanted to add 4 to 5 vegan options. My fiance and his mom objected, saying it's a waste of money over food that isn't real food. You can eat it, so like it is, Also, there's like a lot of vegan food that is like amazing. Like, don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. Like, it's hard to make really good vegan food. I feel like you have to be like a very good chef in order to be able to be a vegan. There's definitely really good vegan options. There's this one restaurant I go to. It's called Fresh in Toronto. Everything's vegan, and it's amazing. They have such good salads, and their chicken is like pretty close, honestly. They also argued that this would be offensive for their guests and suggested my vegan options just be the good old salads and appetizers. How is it offensive to have options for people who have different dietary restrictions? When you go to a restaurant, do these people get offended that there's vegan options on the menu?
Your menu's on fire.
That's weird. You're being weird. I said no. For one, it's me and my family who's paying. And two, I want to make my guests feel welcome and not be treated as second-class citizens by being served salad. My fiance made a face and said, "Isn't that what vegans eat?" No, not just. I refused to argue about it and said it was
He
fine.
doesn't know what
My
you
goodness,
eat.
so you're paying for
You're
it
getting
and he's
married to a man who
literally
doesn't know
telling
what you eat.
what you can and can't eat on the menu?
Yep. I know what that's like.
The other day, I found out he canceled all the vegan options and took them off the menu completely and behind my back. The audacity. I was seething.
Yeah.
I called him at work, but he kept hanging up on me. What is his problem? I went straight to his workplace and confronted him there and just flipped out on him. He was stunned to see me.
What are you doing here?
He at first said it was his mom's idea, and then told me to go home because I was making a scene at the office. The fight continued at home, and he defended himself by saying I sort of made him resort to doing this after I kept brushing off his thoughts and input, and refusing to accommodate his family. But it doesn't affect his family. It affects your family because they can't eat anything at your wedding. How does having an option for other people with dietary, like, would he have this same reaction if people had allergies? This is weird. Listen, you are allowed to have whatever dietary restrictions you want. If you're a vegan, if you're a vegetarian, if you are a carnivore, whatever, just don't force your opinions on other people. And it goes both ways, eh? Like, vegans, don't push it on other people. Vegans, don't push it
That's
on
how you know she's from Toronto.
Everybody's
The A.
entitled to eat whatever they want. And that is
Oh yeah, totally heard that.
But there were plenty
I know,
of
eh?
meat options. Why can't I get 4 to 5 vegan options? When I'm paying for it, it literally doesn't affect him at all. He yelled that it was his wedding too, not my family's. My family said it was fine and they'll figure it out and told me to let it go, but I refused. Am I the a-hole for putting my foot down on this? No. He's being so unreasonable and dumb. Okay, so there's an update. So his mom messaged me earlier to try to get me to listen to what she had to say after I kept ignoring her phone calls. She sent long walls of text just to address what I did at her son's workplace, calling it all kinds of stuff from immature to unhinged. Yeah, of course she makes it about how you f***ed up and not what they did to ruin your wedding for your family. Yes, you didn't have to go to his workplace, but he was ignoring your calls. She then went on to explain how she noticed that me and my family kept acting dismissive of her son's input and contributions to the wedding. What contributions? I feel like this is just like a really dumb hill that he like wants to say, and like this is how he's like asserting dominance. She says she noticed my behavior toward him and her entire family and wanted to speak up earlier but didn't and tried to keep the peace. She then went on to address the food menu issue and denied her involvement in the cancellation of the vegan option, but that didn't mean she didn't support her son's decision. Moreover, she thought it was so responsible of him to make that move because of my continual refusal to see how this stuff is a waste of money. It's not. People need to eat. How is that a waste of money? And what does it matter if you're wasting your money? She's not the one that's paying for it, and neither is her son. So what does it matter if that's something that you want to spare no expense over? Ugh, I'm livid. I'm angry. Triggered, if you will. She also pointed out how I kept saying I paid for it, and she said that technically this isn't just my money, it's mine and his because we're getting married, and she suggested I wisen up and get rid of my money, I paid for it mentality.
Oh my god!
I hate this, but it's a fact, though. She finally mentioned how bad this whole situation is making me look, and she said that she and her son had already offered a number of compromises that I chose to brush off, and decided to make it my weird hill to die on. Interesting choice of words. It doesn't
Motherfucker.
Cheer one.
Hi,
Meat
meat.
Steak cheered 1 bits.
Hi, meat.
Cheer 1. Meat Steak cheered 1 bits. Cheer 1. Meat Steak cheered 1 bits.
This pissed me off.
Cheer 1. Meat Steak cheered 1 bits.
It's a party, alright!
Cheer 1. Meat Steak cheered 1 bits.
Apparently my fiance saw my response to her, he's with her, and is now trying to call me, but right now I'm waiting on him to get home and see if he's still insisting on taking the stance he took. This is so dumb. It's a party, alright!
Cheer 12. Meat Steak cheered 12
Or
bits.
maybe they're trying to assert
Hi,
control
bud.
over the wedding in some way. Let's recap.
You made me forget what I was
has
doing.
no clue what vegans actually eat and no interest in learning. 2, believes having food for your family is offensive. It's a party,
Mother.
Cheer 13. Meat Steak cheered 13 bits.
4, he makes
It's a party, alright!
Cheer 14. Meat Steak cheered 14 bits.
That's a lot of things to be really angry about. Why are you marrying this guy again? Like, it may sound like a party, alright!
Cheer 15. Meat Steak cheered 15 bits.
It's a party, alright!
Cheer 16. Meat Steak cheered 16 bits.
Isn't a big deal. If they live together, that could already be happening. I wouldn't be surprised. Honestly, this is weird. People who eat meat and are forced to be around vegans. It's a party, alright!
Cheer 10. Meat Steak cheered 10 bits.
It's a party, alright!
Cheer
You're
10.
silly.
Meat Steak cheered 10 bits.
Yes, I see you, meat.
Calls him to discuss something important to her. What an absolute child OP is about to marry. Wait until you have kids, OP. Him and his mother are going to drive you insane. So you and your family are paying, but his mummy says salad and cupcakes is fine. So he cancels any food the family paying can eat. I'd cancel the wedding. You're not the a-hole. Him and mummy, massive a-holes. Yeah, you're not the a-hole, my dear. Next case. My 28 female, fiance, 26 female, told me my parents are saying incredibly racist things to her when I'm not around because they don't want black grandchildren. Hello everyone. I'm writing this to figure out what to do or who to believe in this situation. Let me start out by saying I'm white and my lovely fiance is a black woman. We have an amazing relationship and I don't want any other woman in my life. She's also the only black woman I've ever dated. My parents have always been supportive of me and I have an incredibly strong family relationship with them and my siblings, or at least I thought. When I was growing up in the Midwest, there weren't really black people around and the topic of racism never came up. But I never suspected that my lovely, outgoing, and polite parents would be racist because they even donated money to an orphanage in Africa for like 20 years now through their church. Could be performative activism disguised as something else. My parents met my fiance a year ago, but did not take it too seriously because I had a lot of girlfriends in the past and they probably just thought it was another girlfriend. Well, last weekend I announced to them that my girlfriend was now my fiance on a Zoom family meeting. My parents looked a little surprised because I did not discuss it with them before, but were ultimately congratulating me. We wanted to have a dinner with them in person to sort of let them get to know their future daughter-in-law and everything blew up. My mom forgot something for the dinner and my dad went to the store to get it. My fiance texted me about 10 minutes in, asking me to come back right away because she needed me, and my dad and I turned around. When I got back, she was sitting in my car. I still had the keys, and she was crying and asking me to take her to our house. Of course, I drove her home and told my parents I was sorry, and my fiance told me what my mom said to her. Essentially, my fiance told me my mom said she was not supportive of us because she didn't want black grandchildren. A number of other things that she was surprised my fiance married up, even though I think my fiance is better looking than me, but I'm a bit more successful financially. When I confronted my mom and asked what she said, my mom said she said nothing even close to that, and the only thing she said was that she was curious what country my wife was ethnically from, and my fiance mistook it. When I asked my fiance more probing questions, she's adamant that my mom explicitly said these things. Well, if she did say these things, that's not exactly something that she would admit to, especially considering this was said when you weren't there. She did it behind your back, if she did do it.
Constantly.
I've never known either of them to be liars, but the two people I trust most in this world are giving me completely conflicting stories. I want to side with my wife, but what if she's having some sort of mental episode or something? Is it a possibility that no one is lying here? I need some help. Edit. It could also be a mental episode with my mom, maybe, but neither have mental issues. But they can pop up in people in their 20s, like my uncle, so I just said my fiance might have had a mental episode. Sorry for the confusion. I don't think that her being offended by your mom's racism is a mental episode. I understand you're confused. I understand this is between your mom and your fiance, but I really highly doubt that your fiance would lie about something as serious as this. Your mom, being someone that doesn't want black grandchildren, does have something to gain by saying what she said, which is to end the relationship. Another top comment, I'm a white guy from the deep south. This isn't even a mystery to me. Your wife is not making anything up. Trust her. The ethnicity dodge is an old hat, and she's blaming your fiance for her own racism by saying she was misunderstood. Midwesterners, I personally know, have a really skewed view of what racism is, and often are not aware of how racist they actually are, because they do not get to witness it on a regular basis or be embarrassed by it on a regular basis. I think that she said something to the effect of like,
Where are you, like, from?
there are certain things that people say that's a little bit of like what's called like a microaggression, right? It's possible it could have been a microaggression, but I think that your fiance has been accustomed to this type of treatment, and I would believe her over your mother. But we have an update. Thank you to those who reached out with good suggestions and such. I really took everyone's advice on this. However, I really didn't think it was fair the way I was characterized in the comments, because I love my fiance and I believe her, but I also love my mom and I have no reason to doubt her either. It's really hard to doubt your parents when they've always been good to you your entire life until this incident. Important context. Anyway, I was basically completely wrong about this whole situation. I decided to call my sisters. I told them it was an emergency and we hopped on Zoom. I explained the crazy story to them and one of them let out a laugh and tried to hold it back. Then I went quiet and we had a few seconds of awkwardness until she let out a,
Are you really asking this?
then she told me,
Of course Mom is racist.
and my sister agreed with her. They then led me on a 30-minute rant about how mom would tell them not to marry outside their race, especially black people, because these marriages won't work out and no decent man would want you after. Oh, Lord. Apparently she told them this regularly and they all married white people anyway. The thing is, I'm 9 years younger than the youngest of them,
night,
so I
love
guess I was
you.
never included. She never once mentioned to me about race or who I should or shouldn't date. I don't know why I never received these messages. Ugh, dear. Maybe it was because you had never dated anyone black before, so like they just assumed that you wouldn't marry anyone black. Moreover, I guess I'm just blind because they also told me I was the favorite child because I was the only boy. I assume my parents paid for everyone's first car in college, but I guess it was just me. They were really mad at me for what I put my fiance through and not realizing things. I mean, I kind of agree with them. Like, I don't think you're a bad person, but I also don't think that someone like experiencing disrespect and like prejudice and then telling you about that, the appropriate response to that is,
Oh, you must be having a mental episode.
Oh, I am definitely having a mental episode. I love them.
I feel like that's unfair because how am I supposed to know they were mistreated compared to me if I was a child when they were in college? I guess the close relationship I thought I had was just an illusion. I told my fiance I was with her until I die and I don't care if they all cut me off and that I'm siding with her always. I should have done this from the beginning because she's really not the kind of person to call people racist and I never knew her to be super political. After talking with my sisters, I hung up almost crying, which I normally don't do. But I went and told my fiance everything I had learned and we held each other for a while. Oh God, I'm actually like tearing up for a bit. That's so hard. It's such a generational thing. Like, it's not just generational, but like it really is a generational thing. And it's something that generations just like honestly can't agree on. I understand that your mom treated you really well, but like this kind of thinking toward other people is just like not okay. She's not really mad at me, but I just was sad about the whole situation. And we talked a lot about whether to cut my parents out completely or not. I know for sure we will not let them around our future children. Also, my sisters called me back and told me they're sorry they were so harsh on me, but I really hope I don't lose all my family from this. I also found out my dad has internal Ring cameras and I asked to see the videos from that day, but he told me they were already deleted and overwritten. Guilty. I would really like to see it in person for closure. Overall, I'm sorry for the storm this caused on here, but I decided to update just because I keep seeing alerts and messages from people. Maybe somebody will find this helpful. Some important things to note in the comments. I'm glad your sister sorted you out, but remember, this has disproportionately affected them and your fiance. Even if you weren't intentionally blind, you do need to cool it with complaining about how this is unfair to you. It is unfair to him. Obviously, he would love his parents' support, but at the end of the day, the prejudice is not being directed toward him. It will be directed toward his own children, which he can be upset about. You can be upset for people, but this is not about you. I really hate that he says his fiance isn't super political, as if being racist is political. Yeah, that's a very good point. I kind of cringed a little bit when I read that. I was just like, okay. This is not like a red versus blue issue, I feel like. I mean, it kind of is, but it shouldn't be. It's not. Being racist just makes you an a-hole. I think it will be really hard to be around your parents if they feel this way about black people, because they're gonna feel that way about your kids. Yeah, I don't know. This is kind of unconscionable at this point. It would be nice to be able to have a relationship, but quite frankly, your mom should have kept her feelings to herself. Then again, is it a good thing that maybe you find out these things before having to guess? I'm glad you somewhat came to your senses. I'm sad that your sisters had to knock some sense into you for you to believe your fiance. All right, we got one more spicy one. My 22 female, fiance, 25 male, wants his father to check my tomorrow night before I get married. Originally posted to relationship advice. My fiance proposed to me about 8 months ago. We decided on having a relatively small wedding, which is in 2 days. Everything was going great. He seems absolutely perfect, and we are very much in love. I am a virgin, and so is he. He wanted to save it for marriage, and I wasn't fussed, so I agreed to saving it. He's told me earlier that in his family, the father checks the virginity of the bride the night before the wedding. I laughed this off as it seriously sounds like a massive joke. It does sound like a joke. The dad? The night before the wedding. I feel like the only time I've ever heard this happening is like when I watch like a period drama. Not like period like you're on your rag, but like, you know, Marie Antoinette or something. And like they check the bride has to be a virgin and able to bear children, so the doctor checks before there's a royal wedding. I've never heard of this like happening in real life, and not in like the 2000s. Turns out he was dead serious.
I have
He asked me
in
the night
cults and
before
religious
to-
stuffs.
to have a small ceremony type thing
No
so his dad
fucking
can check
way.
me while him and his brothers and uncle can walk
I told you.
so they know I'm
Cult.
still pure. I told him fat chance I'm gonna do that, and he was begging me to go through with it. Like, why not? Like this is so weird to begin with, but why the dad? Fucking weird. And how important it is for him. He said he knew it was slightly embarrassing for me, but his mom did it and will prove how much I love him and that I have nothing to hide anyway, as I'm a virgin. Hide? I don't like this at all. This is weird. This is some
It's what
weird
they did in
medieval-
those
I laughed and
religious
he was
cults.
Crying. It was very dramatic, to be honest. I want to call off the wedding because of this and never talk to him again. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it's only one thing. Other than that,
Ew.
we're genuinely perfect for each other, and I don't want to spend my life with anyone else. And it's very important to him and his family. Why? What the frick frack do I do? I'm currently at my friend's house and I might stay here for the night. Tomorrow would be our last day as an unmarried couple, and I'm straight up panicking. Yeah, this is odd. I think that this is a very strange hill to die on, and at the end of the day, it's up to you what you want to do. And if he forces you to do it, then you end it. If he forces you and says that he's not going to marry you, then you don't marry him. Like, I'm uncomfortable reading this. I can't even imagine how one would feel if they were obligated to participate in this kind of ceremony. Jesus. Even when you're thinking about like medieval times, you know, royal weddings.
That's
where
what
you
they
had to do
did.
this as a
That's what they
bride.
did in the
It
cults.
wasn't
The
dad that
the
looked.
cults.
It was like a priest or a doctor or something, like a bishop. This is weird.
Cults.
So we do have an update. First of all, thank you for all the replies. I didn't think this would get so big. I read pretty much all the replies. Special shout out goes to the person who said this was fake solely on the fact that I write like a man. Whatever that means. I went to talk to him this morning, and I told him that his father is not going to look at me, and he needs to respect that. He was adamant that it needed to happen, and he accused me of lying about my virginity. I was trying to be calm and rational, but he was not having it and became more and more angry. Yeah, this is when you end it. I
Goodbye.
told him if he really loved me, he would stand by me on this and tell his father no. To which he slapped
Yeah.
me and said he didn't need to prove anything. This is done. We're done. Nice. See you later. I ended it and I left him. I'm currently back at my friend's house being miserable and eating pizza, which is pretty fun. So yeah, thanks everyone. I'm very rarely like speechless.
He
It takes a lot to
fucking
knock the words out of me.
slapped you.
I can't say I'm sad for you though.
Girl.
I really can't. Like I know that it's like sad right now, but you're gonna look back on this and be like, imagine you went through with it. Oh, weird. Look at the top comment. That's medieval It is. And even when it was medieval, even when it was allowed in medieval times, that was for like literal royal weddings and like the nobility. What is this family on? That's enough fiance drama for one day.
Beep.
This is good.
We accidentally made a deal.
Take a look at this
Hang on. Yep.
Take a look at this CCTV footage. January 7th, 2022, in Hobbs, New Mexico, at roughly 2 p.m., a white sedan drives in, parking in front of the dumpsters behind Broadmoor Shopping Center. A young teen exits the car and tosses a small but unusually heavy bag before driving away. At first glance, this looks like a seemingly ordinary garbage drop-off. But what was inside that black bag would land her in the center of a police investigation and expose her disturbing secret.
Obviously,
You're 18 years of age. You know right from wrong, right?
Right.
Okay.
Hours later, at 7:38 p.m., 3 dumpster divers, Michael, Hector, and April, were searching for scrap metal when they found that same black bag. But this was something no one was ever meant to see. They heard a faint whining sound coming from the garbage bag. At first, they thought it was a kitten, but as they opened the bag, a human, a newborn baby to be exact, wrapped in a trash bag. Of course, what the
Disgusting.
dumpster divers had stumbled upon was more than a miracle. It was a crime scene. They immediately called for help.
Hello, 911.
Yes, we just found a baby in the trash.
Can you tell me about the baby?
The discovery of the newborn baby in a dumpster sparked outrage and a desperate search for answers. How could a mother leave her child in that condition? The police focused on the CCTV footage from earlier that day, which led them to 18-year-old Alexis Avila. She was brought in for interrogation, where her answers seemed almost rehearsed.
So, obviously I got confirmation that you were pregnant, okay? Right.
I got that out yesterday.
Yes, she insisted she was completely unaware of her pregnancy until the day before giving birth, attributing her physical discomfort to back pain and constipation. She even detailed a visit to a clinic, where she claimed she received the shocking news.
I went to the clinic and they did a urine sample and they told me I was pregnant, and that's when I found out.
But while her story seemed believable at first, it was about to fall apart. See, the people who knew Alexis told a different story. One user alleged, "I live in the town this happened in." She knew. Everyone she went to school with knew. She thought she could bat her eyes at the cops and walk away. Pure evil. And sure enough, when the detective pressed her, the truth came out.
So you knew back when is this? What are we talking about?
August. Maybe a little bit before that. Oh, I took 2. One was positive, one was negative. I took the negative, I didn't.
But police still needed answers to one question. What happened on January 7, 2022, the day Alexis Avila gave birth to her son? With her lies crumbling down around her, Alexis began to recount the events of that day. Alexis explained that she had been experiencing stomach pain and unexpectedly gave birth.
So obviously you gave birth to a child.
Right.
I'm trying to find out where it happened, how it happened, or what led to that and stuff like that.
I went to sleep and then I woke up and I went to the restroom and I was just trying, and then it came out and I thought it was poop, and then it wasn't.
Okay. So you were aware.
I was in a panic. I didn't know what to do.
Okay.
I was scared. I drove around and I didn't know what to do, and I just put it in there.
However, to internet users, the camera footage showing her cold and calculated actions contradicted her panicked claims in the interrogation room. And while Alexis seemed to plead for understanding,
I was in a panic. I didn't know what to do.
Okay.
I was scared.
it was impossible for investigators to ignore the way she discarded her child. And when she was pressed for details, her responses became even more disturbing, revealing a seeming lack of remorse.
In a panic. I just turned 18.
Right.
It's not like I've been 18 forever.
Exactly.
Did you catch that? Alexis smiled as she used her age to excuse wrapping her newborn in a trash bag. In fact, Alexis smiles multiple times throughout the interrogation, especially when defending her actions. So, were these smiles simply nerves, or something more sinister? Well, combined with the minimization of her actions and the detachment from what she had done, the internet believed these grins were suggestive of one thing: guilt. And someone had a theory about this. Duping delight. People tend to smile when they think they're fooling someone. As for others, they just couldn't understand why a trash can was even a solution. I was a teen mom, in a bad situation, and terrified. I didn't do this. I can't sympathize, understand, or forgive this girl. She is 18. A 3-year-old would know to not throw a baby in trash, leading people to call Alexis a monster that should be prevented from getting pregnant ever again. But what drove Alexis to such a desperate act? In the interrogation room, she offered a potential motive: fear of her mother's reaction.
I just left it where it was, and I was scared. I was trying to call my mom, but I couldn't because I was so scared. I think she was gonna hate me.
She appeared convinced her mother's response would be anger, not comfort.
What made you think that?
just because I just turned 18, I haven't been 18 for a month, and I'm the baby.
Yes, Alexis repeatedly referenced her recent entry into adulthood as an excuse for her actions.
Just turned 18, I haven't been 18 for a month. I just turned 18.
Right,
It's
right.
not like I've been 18 forever.
Exactly.
I panic when I just turned 18.
But despite her alleged fear of how her mother would react, she later requested her mother's presence.
Maybe my mom could take me somewhere. And my mom's coming here and you're gone.
But it wasn't just this inconsistency that left viewers with goosebumps. See, throughout the interrogation, Alexis never referred to her newborn son as him. Instead, she called the baby it.
Uh-huh.
Wrapped it in a
It.
towel.
That. This.
The way she
There.
spoke about
Like
the baby
it.
was cold and distant.
Wrapped
it was
it.
like she was talking about
See?
a thing,
Eh?
not a child. And yet, she insisted.
If the baby's okay, I want it.
This chilling statement that she wanted her son back only if he was okay sparked outrage. That's the most offensive thing she could possibly have said. She has no right to even say something like that. That line really pissed me off. She doesn't even recognize the baby as a person. I wanted nothing more than for the cop to say you will never see the baby again and you deserve nothing. That officially broke my heart. The conflicting statements, the unfeeling language, the seeming lack of remorse. It all pointed to something far more complex than simple panic. But now that the investigators had gathered their evidence, it was time for the legal system to take over. Alexis Avila was arrested and charged with attempted first-degree murder and child abuse. But it was what happened next that left the public stunned.
Breaking news tonight, an 18-year-old Hobbs woman accused of throwing her baby in a dumpster over the weekend will stay under house arrest until her trial.
Yes, Judge William Shoebridge made the controversial decision to allow
It's a
Alexis
party! All right!
Cheer 1.
Hi,
TNL 1 cheered 1 bits.
be behind bars. She was hardly free. The conditions of
There
Alexis'
we go.
release were strict. She was only allowed out of the home for essential activities like school, work, counseling, and medical appointments. Out-of-state travel was banned. She was forbidden from contacting any males outside her immediate family, and most importantly, she was prohibited from seeing her own child, the very child she was accused of trying to kill. News
I
of this
can't hear it
decision spread
anymore.
quickly,
Hang
sparking
on.
immediate and intense reactions. Alexis Avila's defense team was
There we go.
satisfied
We're grateful for the court's decision.
and pleaded for the compassion for the community. Alexis is barely 18
Hang on.
herself.
Shut up.
Whatever happened is already
You mean
a
on the
tragedy for her
Discord?
family and the community.
Yes.
Alexis's attorney,
Oh.
Ibukun Adepoju, said in a statement, "As humans, we should practice compassion as we wait for
Night,
the justice
Tino.
system to work." But
Good night,
compassion wasn't
mister.
what the public felt. Not when they saw Alexis's release as a complete injustice. The community demanded answers.
Better.
In the court of public opinion, there's only one place Ovula should be, and that's
It's-
behind
I fixed it.
bars.
I feel like the judge ruled wrong.
No, I
feel
still
like
can't hear
the
it.
defense
Hold on, let me try
attorney's
again.
argument was flawed. We got a girl who left her child for dead and threw it in the trash can.
Online, the comments were just as ruthless. WTF
sounds
is
still
wrong
not
with that
working in the
judge.
Discord,
In
that's
doing
weird.
this, he's actually sympathizing with a child.
Great, I'll just unmute
And
your
instead
stream.
of holding her
Ah.
accountable for her horrible actions, he
uh.
gave her a slap on the wrist. And mommy and daddy bailing her out are just as guilty as she is. People who commit robberies get more prison time than this. Unacceptable. Decisions like
There,
these send the
in there
message it's
now.
not too bad
Try it
for
now.
doing what she did. What a clown judge. Still, the investigation remained ongoing.
Fucking
Police
what?
interviewed the boy who they believed to be the baby's father, 16-year-old Stephen Astorga. He claimed he was completely unaware of the pregnancy and believed Alexis when she allegedly told him she miscarried. Alexis's mother also confirmed she had no knowledge of her daughter's condition. 2 years later, the stage was finally set. The trial of Alexis Avila was about to begin. But would the courtroom offer the answers the public so desperately sought? The prosecution laid out their case, piece by piece. But the most chilling details came from the medical professionals who fought to save the newborn's life. After the baby boy was found, he was rushed to a Hobbs hospital before being
How's that?
transferred to a more advanced NICU in Lubbock. He received a blood transfusion, was placed on a feeding tube, and given oxygen. Every resource was used in a desperate attempt to save his life.
Don't worry
But
about it,
incredibly,
because
he
it's
survived.
just not
However,
seeming to want to work.
during the trial, the defense made a shocking attempt to downplay the severity of his condition, suggesting he was in good health after being discarded. Naturally, this sparked outrage. outrage. It's sad that in a fair judicial court, the doctors and nurses who save lives have to feel like they are being questioned in a criminal case. God bless these amazing people who save those that could not save themselves. Adding another layer of controversy, the defense focused on Alexis's mental health, claiming she may have been experiencing symptoms of bipolar disorder since she was 14 or 15.
Well, pregnancy comes with a lot of hormonal changes. And so pregnancy can kind of emphasize mood swings. So in a person like her that already has kind of this predisposition or has these early symptoms of it, the hormonal changes associated with pregnancy are going to be amplified because they're going to interact with that underlying condition.
This strategy also drew sharp criticism. Her attorney made everyone with mental health issues look bad. I have bipolar depression and disassociate, only treated this past year. I'm almost 36. I've never once felt the need to harm anyone. It's BS that they tried to use her bipolar 1 and ADD diagnosis as part of her reason. I have bipolar 2 and ADHD among a couple other diagnoses, and I would never dream of doing something so horrid to my 2 kids. But the excuses Alexis's legal team offered were nothing compared to what Alexis had to say for herself. On the witness stand, Alexis claims she blacked out on January 7th. That's right. She insisted she had no memory of giving birth, or even of the interrogation.
When she told you you were pregnant, what did you think at the time?
Oh,
I'm not sure. I kind of blacked out.
Oh, you piece of shit.
Oh, I don't remember.
Why don't you remember?
I blacked
was the
out.
amnesia genuine or selective? It wasn't long before the public began to poke holes in Alexis's
she says
testimony.
that.
After all, when she was asked what she did after the alleged blackout, her memory suddenly became remarkably clear.
I think I went to work.
Before you went to work, before you left the doctor, did they give you any information as to what to do next, anything like that?
No, ma'am. They just told me to stop taking
Good
the
night.
medication at the hospital for my ambulance.
So you remember that part?
Yes, Alexis remembered going to work and the doctor's instructions, but the central event, the birth of her child, remained a blank. This pattern continued throughout her testimony, as she repeatedly told the court.
I don't remember. I don't remember.
The public, however, was certain Alexis's amnesia was just another convenient excuse. Her memory and blackouts are amazingly selective.
How
You can see
awesome.
in her facial expressions and reactions that she's showing no remorse, just trying to get herself to the lowest charge she can. So absolutely sickening watching this thing swivel in her chair and pretending she doesn't remember. She remembers everything. She knows what she did was wrong, but doesn't want to take responsibility or pay for her crime. The prosecution also emphasized the suspicious timing of these alleged blackouts.
But what we do know is that it's really convenient that Alexis Villa only blacks out what she's told on the 6th with the nurse. It's really convenient that she only blacks out what happened to her after she had that baby.
Have you ever been blacked out?
Well, we're asking you the questions, ma'am. You're the one that threw the baby into the dumpster.
Prosecution even took jabs at Alexis for her forgetfulness.
Are you left-handed or right-handed, or have you forgotten?
After 4 days of trial, the jury reached a verdict on April 14, 2023.
You find the defendant, Alexis Nicole Avila, guilty of attempt to commit first-degree murder as charged in count 1, signed by the 4 persons.
And it was following this verdict, along with another guilty verdict for child abuse, that Alexis showed emotion for the first time. However, for viewers, the tears had come too late. Now she's crying for herself, but didn't cry for her own baby she wanted to kill. Shaking my head. Disgusting. About 2 weeks later, on May 1st, 2023, Alexis's sentencing took place. The prosecution argued she prioritized herself above all else, and the evidence pointed to a clear intent to harm, neglect, and kill.
Your Honor, what we see here is a pattern of someone who not only is not showing remorse, but someone who, in fact, takes deliberate steps in her own recollection of this event to minimize her own role in something that was manifest and clear in the video, which was that she was attempting to kill the most innocent life, most helpless life of her own child.
The prosecution pointed to Alexis's calm demeanor in the CCTV footage, arguing it showed just how calculated the crime had been. Even the baby's own father, Stephen Astorga, delivered a powerful statement.
We'll never forgive or forget what happened January 7th. If it weren't for those three angels that evening, we would be here for different reasons.
But the defense stuck to their argument that Alexis's actions were driven by a previously undiagnosed mental health disorder and pleaded for leniency.
I paid for my own college, so I knew I'd have to start accumulating a lot of money, paying student loans, paying rent. There wasn't much left over. Every month I put whatever I could have into wealth funds. It does the work for me. I don't have to worry about picking stocks or making sure that...
Shut up!
Your Honor, we are asking that the sentence in this matter be mitigated to the full extent that the court is able to, which is 6 years. And we are asking the court to consider the factors of Alexis's characteristics, her past conduct, her age, her health, any events surrounding this crime, the pattern of conduct indicating that whether or not she poses serious threat to society.
Yeah, she do.
And the possibility of rehabilitation.
Alexis's parents also spoke, describing a loving upbringing and insisting their daughter was not in her right mind. They
Spoiled,
expressed a desperate hope
entitled.
for a future reunion with their grandson.
Your Honor, I promise you that if me or the mom ever even had a clue that she was pregnant, we would never be in this situation. We had 6 other grandchildren that we love very much, and baby's home is no exception. Your Honor, I ask for you that you please have mercy on your soul.
Allow her the opportunity to continue to be a continuing contributing member in society, and most importantly, to one day be able to fulfill her motherhood role
Ugh.
and be part of her baby's life.
And
The
then
baby she
Alexis
threw
herself spoke.
in the... You threw it in the dumpster. Because you did... Oh my... Stop it. I, me.
The courtroom held its breath as the potential sentence loomed, 18 years. But in the end, Judge Shoebridge, acknowledging Alexis's young age, lack of prior record, and undiagnosed mental illness, chose a lesser sentence.
As to the crime of a child resulting in great bodily harm, a first-degree felony, I send you to 18 years followed by 2 years parole. I'm going to suspend 2 years. So you do 16 years in the Department of Corrections.
Still, Judge Shoebridge noted that even with good behavior, Alexis could only shave 4 days off her sentence per month. The judge described Alexis's crime as an unforgivable event by any mother. He added that had it not been for the miracle of the dumpster divers, Alexis would be facing much harsher charges.
To toss one's own child into a dumpster like trash is something that it is an unforgivable event by any mother. Your child, I do agree, was very vulnerable, but for the grace of God and the happenstance of the 3 dumpster divers that found your child, we certainly would be here sending you on a murder case as opposed to where you are.
And while Alexis would be receiving 16 years behind bars rather than 18 years, the judge assured her that the punishment for her crime would be unending.
You've given yourself a life sentence of knowing what you did with your child.
Lee County District Attorney Deanna Luce praised the sentence, saying it was justice for baby boy in a press release. We are thankful that the court found that this especially heinous crime was a serious violent offense and that the defendant will receive a just punishment for committing this crime against an innocent newborn. This sentence is a warning to all who will try to kill innocent children that you will be held accountable. Still, debate over the sentencing exposed a divide in public opinion. Some were satisfied with the 16 years Alexis would be serving. The judge showed some mercy, showed he cared, and gave a fair sentence. Others were skeptical over whether jail time was the solution. I don't agree with this. Lengthy prison sentences are not a deterrent in these cases and accomplish nothing. Her youthful age and lack of previous criminality make me feel that a sentence of more than 10 years is overboard. She needs mental help. Prison doesn't fix mental issues, it creates more as they all get abused. And then there were those who believed the consequences to the crime should have been more extreme. She deserved longer, at least 25 years if not life. She left that baby to... I don't care how young she is or what mental issues she has. She knew better. Wow. 16 years for attempted murder of a newborn child. The judicial system for certain people is disgusting. Only 16 years? Good behavior? Seriously? But as Alexis serves her sentence, one question remains. What happened to the baby? Well, the brave little boy, now named Saul, which means asked for, prayed for, is thriving. He lives with his father, Stephen Astorga, and is happy, healthy, and surrounded by love. But Saul's story has become more than just his own. In the wake of this case, lawmakers approved a bill to expand New Mexico's Safe Haven program, providing funds to build baby boxes across the state. These boxes offer a safe, anonymous way for parents in crisis to surrender their newborns, no questions asked. And just a year and a half later, one of these boxes was used for the first time. A newborn boy was safely surrendered at a Hobbs fire station. Still, the shadow of what happened lingers, and while Saul's story is ultimately one of hope, it also serves as a chilling reminder of the desperate situation some individuals face, and the devastating consequences of their choices. While you're here, check out our other video of a teen mother who tried to escape responsibility as a new parent, all caught on CCTV footage, and consider subscribing to stay updated.
Yeah, hang on. We're watching. Oh. Ooh, BJ got lots of shit going on. BJ!
Okay, y'all. I've been
Wait. Yes. Start from here.
Hello, everybody. We need
Exclamation
to talk
BJ,
about
please.
people involved in the Diddy trial, starting with the jurors and the witnesses. Today, at the time of the
I
recording,
don't
is Tuesday,
think
May
so.
20th. Things happen every single day, so I just want to make a... This is where we are right now. Now, people have been asking me on my other channel. I am covering the trial live on That Surprise Witness every single day. So people have been asking me, like, who are these jurors? Which ones actually got picked? Which ones actually got kicked out? And it was just moving too fast for me to go back and do all that research. However, the Diddy docket, whoever that is, the Diddy docket has been hard at work over here, and they did make a little juror list, so I thought we could go over that. And then also I want to talk about the witnesses who have testified so far. Let's start with the jurors. Now, there are 12 jurors and 6 alternates. 8 of the jurors are men and 4 are women, and the ages are all over the place. So shout out to diddydocket.com. Y'all can go to the website if you want to explore some of this research. That is where I'm reading from. And I'm just going to go in the order of how they have it listed here. It looks like maybe they have it youngest to oldest. So the youngest juror appears to be 31 years old, and this is an investment analyst, male. All the first 8 are going to be the males. Okay, so then the next oldest person is also a male who is a social worker. We have a 41-year-old male prison communications worker, which, that's interesting because one of the potential jurors was like immediately kicked out because they worked at the jail, the prison where Diddy's being held, the MDC. So the prison communications worker, what is that? Then there's a 51-year-old male who is some type of scientist, and 2 68-year-old retired men. One is retired from a career in finance, one is retired from a career in telecommunications.
Okay.
I'm starting to see this point. Like, when I was little, it was like, what do you do? Mailman, firefighter, secretary, or whatever. Now it's like, what does this mean? What telecommunications? How? That could mean anything. Was he showing up to fix people's cable boxes, or was he the CEO of Comcast? You know what I mean? Like, that could be anything. And then 2 other males, one 67-year-old, so this kind of older leading jury, right? Like a 68-year-old, a 68-year-old, a 67-year-old, and a 69-year-old.
Literally.
And a 69-year-old is an actor and a massage therapist, girl. So then there's, the youngest juror is actually this woman, 30-year-old deli clerk. We have a nursing aide who's 42, a 43-year-old female physician's assistant, and the oldest juror of all, my God, 74 years old. I can't imagine being 34 years old sitting up there all day looking at this depraved stuff and listening to this nasty stuff. And you 74-year-old woman, no. I would say I gotta go. Pray for her. But former treatment coordinator, maybe treatment of what? Girl, who knows? So then, let's get into this witness list. So as y'all may have heard by now, Diddy is charged with quite a few things. He is charged with a racketeering conspiracy. He is charged with transportation of a human being for the purpose of a commercial SUL act, aka blank institution. Like, I'm trying to follow the rules. It's getting hard out here. And also like a forced labor component as well, because a lot of these people, many of these people were Diddy's employees. Cassie, a lot of people are saying, all I see is domestic violence. It's like, girl, you forgot that was her boss. Y'all forgot that was her boss. That's why you can't date your employees, because then whenever you beating them, it ain't just domestic violence. It's labor code violations, forced labor, slavery, kidnapping comes into play. Okay, so all I see is domestic violence. So you don't see an employee who is going to be definitely blackballed. Come on. Was she going to be able to go make an album, sign an album deal with anybody else after Diddy? No, obviously. Please, y'all, please. Bots are out of control. Anyway, so the first person who testified, Israel Flores. Now, this is the security guard from the Intercontinental Hotel. He actually took cell phone video of the security footage. So there's security footage. We've all seen it. Don't edit it in, editing team. Do not edit this footage in, because I already know what happens. It's so crazy how everybody else can put stuff all over the internet, but when I do it, it's like, no. And there's also a screenshot. The rest of the video was shown at trial that we didn't see, and there's a screenshot. You can put a screenshot of him. This guy, he's like coming out, and apparently like Diddy was like, "You not leaving," to Cassie, and this guy, he says, looked at Diddy and said, "If she wants to leave, she's gonna leave." He was like the assistant of security, so he testified this altercation happened. He gets a call from guest services or something like that, because Cassie had actually ran out into the elevator bank, picked up the landline, hardline phone, and as soon as you pick it up, it calls like emergency, whatever, like to the hotel. And she said, "I need help," or whatever, "somebody come help me." This guy at the time, he wasn't like the director of security, he was assistant director, so he didn't have all the full permissions to rewind the tapes right there at that time. So he just saw Diddy on the cameras live, pacing up and down the hall with a robe. It wasn't even a towel, it was a robe. And he's not even wrapped, it wasn't even fully wrapped, he's just holding it, pacing. And so the guy's like, shh. So he runs down the elevator, 6th floor, he gets off. You can see him getting off the elevator in the camera. And there's a, discussion. Diddy goes back to his room. Cassie wants to go get her phone and wants to go get her stuff and leave. The guy accompanies her to go do that. He says he pins Diddy up against the wall. Maybe he did that, maybe he didn't. He said Cassie had a black eye. She claims that she took a Uber away from there, but this guy says that there was like some 7-foot tall guy who picked her up. So I don't know if it's just a giant Uber driver or what. Today, this guy works for the Los Angeles Police Department, the LAPD. He says that at the time, he knew his wife was not going to believe him, that he saw Sean Diddy Puttati Combs beating somebody up or whatever, like that happened in the hotel. So he took his iPhone and he recorded the security camera footage on his iPhone. He said he was off work the next day. When he got back the day after that for his next shift, the video footage was gone. He said that day when he went up to remind Diddy of the rules of the hotel, Cassie had already left. Diddy tried to offer him a stack of cash. And like, you take care of this, I take care of you. And the guy testified on the stand, Israel Flores, that he told Diddy, "I don't want your money, I just want you to chill out, follow the hotel rules, and check out today when you're scheduled to check out." So that video did get deleted. I don't know if somebody did get bribed or what, but that was the first witness. And then the second witness, the same day, gets up on the stand. This all happens the same day as opening statements. I mean, it all just boom, boom. They just really got out the gate with these witnesses. The next one's name is Daniel Phillip. Now, this guy, he was a dancer. He called himself a bachelorette party stripper. And he got booked, basically. Well, really what he says was he was a manager. he was a manager of these bachelorette party strippers. Like, he would kind of dispatch them, and it's like all these little pyramids of managers really keep coming back up. But Diddy and Cassie were looking for like a specific look, and I think it was like specifically they wanted a black man. And I don't know if this is like a black man or what. I didn't see a picture of Daniel Phillip, but he was like, okay, fine, I'll do it. So his boss, even though he was boss of other people, his boss kind of said, okay, can you go? He thinks he's gonna go to a party, a stripper party, like for a bachelorette party. He gets there and he says Cassie was there wearing a red wig and red lingerie and heels and something else. I don't know, something. Red wig, red lingerie. And she's like, is it okay if it's just me? He's like, yes. And then little by little that day, it's like, all right, so what if we pay you like instead of $200 or $300, like $2,000, and then you do like more like a escort for my husband. Don't worry, he's not gonna touch you. And at the time, Diddy's wearing mask or bandana. He had a bandana on his face, and this escort / dancer says, "What do you do for work?" And Diddy's like, importing and exporting, which I think is gonna. I think that might become important later. But anyway, so that was that guy. Then you have, of course, Cassie, who testified to all kinds of horrible things against her will. She did say it wasn't all bad. She even didn't say she hates Diddy. She said, I actually have love for the past and parts of what it was. I have love for that. Without that, I wouldn't be able to become the person I am today. But I mean, poor thing. They had her 8.5 months pregnant up on the stand. Any moment she's gonna give birth. I wouldn't be surprised if by the time this video comes out there's a new baby, you know. And they had her rereading Sex. It's from like 2009. It's like, please, like, what is that really supposed to prove, really? She even admits, yeah, some of the FOs I did by my own free will. I was trying to please him. I did do it, yes. But when I wanted to stop, I couldn't. When I ran away, he chased me down and beat me. He kicked me. He threatened me. He shows up to my house, banging on the door. He chased me down when I went back to my mom's house in Connecticut. So Cassie did testify. The next person to testify was Officer Yassine Binda. And y'all, this is where it even starts to get, oh my God. So Diddy, he was supposed to negotiate turning himself in September last year in New York. So he was staying in this hotel in New York to do that. The day before he's supposed to go turn himself in, he actually gets kind of surprise arrested at this hotel. Now, he doesn't get arrested in the middle of a freak-off. He doesn't get arrested even in the hotel room. He got arrested in the lobby. But they did go through his hotel room. And y'all, the pictures just came out yesterday. Oh my Lord. So, Officer Yassine Binda, she is the one. She's from Homeland Security Investigation. She's the one that did the subpoenas. She did the logistics for a lot of the logistics for the investigation. In the room, there was all kind of stuff. Mood lighting, pill bottles, bags of Tuski. Is it called Tuski because of Ricardo? I want to know. I went to my law school class reunion, shout out Penn Law Class 2020, recently, and one of my friends, he's from California originally, he was like, oh yeah, no, that's Tuki and Tuski and Tucci is all the same thing. I've done it before. I'm like, oh girl. I was like, oh no. And we're like in the Art Museum of Philadelphia. It's like the most Illuminati place besides the literal Freemason Temple of Philadelphia. You're like, you did what? Gotta go. Anyway, he's fun. Shout out to him. But he was telling me all about it. And so there's little pink packages of the Tuski and bottles with seemingly the name scratched off. There's some type of cream in the drawers. I mean, there's all kind of stuff. Also, it appears that there was a woman staying there, unless Diddy just likes woman's clothes and woman's face products. There was like a Tatcha water cream, moisturizer, a women's deodorant, mood lighting, and hard drives with tape on it. Oh, a bunch of baby oil. They had so much baby oil. Is it Balenci or does it say Bab oil?
I don't know. I thought
Somebody said it says Beelzebub. I'm like, shut up. So this officer did testify. She found this stuff in the room. There was cash. There was Visine.
From Louisiana.
Now, people were saying that it was mid-freak-off or after a freak-off. It doesn't look like that to me because the way that Cassie described the rooms looking after a freak-off was pretty much more dinkier and jankier than what that room looks like, okay? She was describing bodily fluids of multiple types, at least 3 types. Okay, so it doesn't look like the FO had actually happened yet, but it looked like if they really wanted to have one, they could have one in any moment. So, after Officer Yassine Binda, like, this is like 4:40 she finishes, or 4:30 she finishes, and the court days stop at 5 o'clock. Still like 20 more minutes, and they get Dawn Richard, probably my cousin. I said she's gonna send me a cease and desist to stop calling her my cousin. I thought her name was Dawn Richard because that's what all y'all kept saying. That is not a Richard, that is a Richard. She is from Louisiana, and I'm the Richards. My mama's maternal grandparents are Richards. Everyone should be saying Richard. That is the woman's name. Anyway, and it ain't Richard, y'all. The emphasis is on the first syllable as well. Richard. Richard. Okay. Anyway. So Dawn Richard gets up there on a stand. Now, who is she? She is a former member of Danity Kane. She was on Making the Band season 3. So the first like girl band from Making the Band, and
She's also a Britney, and yes. And she wasn't obsessed with Britney.
Is that them? Thank God.
She came into it after the fact, and she's more obsessed with
Young Jock. What a time.
with
Bring Young Jock back. It's time.
conservatorship abuse. And now she's more into the Britney.
Maybe I shouldn't have been doing it. They were young, they were cute. Anyway, so she was in that band. Then when that band got disbanded by Diddy, then Dawn was in another band with Diddy at this point called Diddy Dirty Money. So I mean, I guess he was like the main character or whatever of the band, but there's 2 other women in the band, and Dawn was one of them. So she gets up and
She like Elle Woods
testified to seeing some act of violence.
from Legally Blonde.
With the eggs comes in. She's the one who saw the skillet. Did he throw the skillet? Did he throw the eggs? Did he hit Cassie in the head with the egg? It's unclear, but Dawn was very adamant that she saw an act of violence. She saw Diddy dragging Cassie up the stairs by her hair. She saw Diddy doing some other things, but it's like the actual moment of impact, she is a little hazy. She said she doesn't know if it swiped across Cassie's head. She said all she knows is Cassie fell quickly to the ground into the fetal position. And so maybe it hit her, maybe it didn't, but then after that, Diddy dragged her up and Dawn heard glass shattering, etc., etc. And in her lawsuit, she sued Diddy as well. And she also is the one that sued Lou Taylor. But she has now dismissed the lawsuit against Lou Taylor. And Dawn is represented by Gloria Allred's daughter, Lisa Webbing. So that's Cassie. So then the trial day wraps up, but then they come back the next day and Dawn is questioned again. The next witness is Carrie Morgan, who is Cassie's former best friend. And she said, I didn't want to be here. I didn't want to come in this courtroom. Okay, I got a subpoena, so I had to. She wouldn't talk to Cassie anymore. And the reason she doesn't is because in 2018, the year everything started to hit the fan, Diddy allegedly, according to Carrie, assaulted her. Diddy kind of snuck up on her in Cassie's house or Cassie's apartment and choked her and left finger marks on her neck. And also boomeranged a wooden hanger at the back of the woman's head, and she had a concussion. She had to go to urgent care. She was throwing up. She was dizzy. She, of course, obviously took that as what it was, if it really happened, an assault. And so she started telling Cassie, you know, this is so messed up that your man, like, hit me or whatever. And then Cassie kind of, like, sided with it. Cassie told her friend that she was milking it. She was over-exaggerating. This is what Carrie Morgan testified. And Diddy paid her $30,000. Now, it's a little unclear because Cassie did say that she also gave Carrie Morgan some money. So I don't know if Cassie had to pay some of this money, if Cassie had to pay all of it, but just like given all the other evidence that I've heard, it doesn't seem like Cassie just had $30,000 laying around in cash. Carrie Morgan also, she doesn't talk to Cassie anymore. They're not friends anymore. But Carrie Morgan also said that it was Diddy's money. So it's up for debate whose money the $30,000 was, but Cassie is the one that met her at a pizza place in West Hollywood in 2018, had Carrie Morgan sign an NDA to not talk about it, and arranged for $30,000 to be deposited in her bank account. The next witness that has started to testify, and at the time of the recording of this video, he still has to go back on and do more testimony, David James, a former personal assistant of Diddy. And this guy is where you're going to probably start getting some details. He talked about a hotel rider, that if he was booking a hotel for Diddy, he had to follow this rider and make certain things available for Diddy. Now, he hasn't yet gotten into the details of that, but probably today those will come out. After him, we're going to hear from the S-worker named the Punisher, Sheree Hayes. We also allegedly going to hear from Cassie's mom. We're going to hear from the former CEO of Bad Boy, which is James Cruz, the person who was allegedly tracking Cassie down if she would run away. We're going to hear from a pseudonym assistant named Mia. Now, I don't know who this is. The whole point is we're not supposed to know. Also, perhaps a Jordan Atkinson and Kalena Harper. I'm waiting to see. Are we going to hear from Jonathan Odd? maybe we'll do a whole separate video on Jonathan Oddie, but y'all, whoo, what used to be a conspiracy theory is about half proved true at this point, at least verified and confirmed by Cassie on the stand. There's some other stuff that hadn't been proved true yet that seems like a little bit outrageous, but it's almost like the craziest thing that he said, that he was Diddy and Cassie's slave. That seemed to come true. I don't know, I wasn't there. I certainly wasn't there. But he claims that he also got a payout or whatever. So these are the people that we think are still going to be testifying. I don't know if Jonathan Oddie will or won't. He has his own trial going on. I really don't know. But things are shaping up in the Diddy trial. I wanted to check in on that. So literally for this one, anytime facts ain't defamation, either opinions. Let me get back.
Okay.
Hello everybody. We need to revisit Kim Porter's mysterious and untimely death. So if you don't know this already, I have been covering every single day, Monday through Friday, the Sean P. Diddy Puff Daddy Combs trial, the criminal trial. It's not televised, so I'll usually have like 5 to 7 tabs open. I'm reading tweets, live tweets from inside the courtroom, and some stuff has come up at the trial recently that has caused me some concern about Kim Porter's death, and it's just the webbing. Let me show you what I mean. I did make this Twitter thread, which you are, welcome to go and read along as we're going through here, but I wanted to memorialize it in a video because Twitter threads get lost, and I guess videos do too, but I just want to sound the alarm here, okay? So if you will recall from this video I made, I think the original title was, What Was in Kim Porter's Nightstand? It might even still be the title. I kind of thought one of the most important details from Kim Porter's death scene that was found was this right here. Look, here is the autopsy report. A bottle of zolpidem tartrate. Now I looked this up, and according to the internet, that's Ambien, which is like a sleep aid, a prescription strength sleeping medicine. This was found at her death scene, but it was not prescribed to Kim Porter. Who was it prescribed to then? Hopefully not Frank Black. May 19th, a lot of pictures were released from Sean P. Diddy Puff Daddy Combs' arrest. Now, did you know that he was going, you probably forgot, I don't know, I kind of forgot. Do you know he was going to get arrested, he was going to turn himself in, he was going to negotiate turning himself in back in September? But the day before he was supposed to do that, he was actually arrested in the hotel lobby of the hotel that he was staying in Manhattan. So there was this Department of Homeland Security Investigations officer that did testify at Diddy's trial about what she found. And we'll put some pictures in right here of different things they found. One of the things they found was a bottle of medication. They found a few bottles of medication, but they did find one specific bottle of clonazepam prescribed to the name Frank Black. Now, in and of itself, who cares? But Cassie Ventura had actually testified that Diddy went by the name Frank Black in his aliases. Like, she actually had him in her phone as Frank Black. So this is all stuff that I already told you about previous, right? The whole nightstand, Kim Porter, Ambien that wasn't prescribed to her thing, right? All these evidence pictures get released, and one of these things that gets released is this picture right here, a pill bottle, and it's prescribed to Frank Black. It's clonazepam, which is a benzodiazepine, sort of similar to Xanax or something like that. But it's just like right on there it says, do not take with Ambien. Well, Ambien has also made an appearance at the Diddy trial already because Cassie, when she was on the stand, they used this text message exchange between her and Diddy. I think it was from like maybe 2009. It was earlier on in their relationship, right as Diddy was asking her to be doing these freak-offs for the first time and stuff like that. Like, she had been doing them kind of, she admits, willingly. But then she started to maybe feel like she didn't really like doing them. She started to feel maybe a little bit used, as well as if she was going to have to do these freak-offs, she wanted to be treated more like, a girlfriend. Apparently she was very jealous of Kim Porter, making this full circle. And she was going to tell Diddy, apparently, in this text message exchange, she was going to say something like, I don't want to do the freak-offs anymore. She was like, let's talk tomorrow. I got something to talk to you about. And Diddy's like, is it going to stress me out? And she's like, no, it's just about the freak-offs. Now, remember, this is 2009. It's like more than 15 years ago at this point. And he's like, is it going to stress me out? And she's like, oh, no, well, it's not that serious. It's just about freak-offs. And he's like, I already know. You don't want to do them anymore. You so predictable. And she was like, oh, okay, well, since you already know, and I'm so predictable, then that's it. So I guess there's no need to talk about it further. Hee, kiki, talk to you tomorrow. And then he responded like, you gonna stop shutting me down and telling me what to do? I don't know, something, whatever. So he's like, all right, I'm going to sleep. Just took a Ambien. So it's like, okay, interesting, Diddy likes to take Ambien. Boom, 15 years later, we have clonazepam prescribed to a guy named Frank Black. Now look, listen, y'all know I was looking up all these addresses in these pharmacies. We're not going to go down that rabbit hole right now because we need to talk about how this relates back to Kim Porter. So Frank Black, Cassie testified, was an alias that Diddy would use instead of using his real name. One of the names he also used would be Frank White, which is interesting because Biggie Smalls also apparently went by that name. And Cassie's firstborn with Alex Fine's name is Frankie, apparently. Not really sure what that's about. And just started making me want to ask more questions about this Kim Porter scene. If you're wondering who this redacted doctor's name is, it wasn't redacted on everybody's publicly available coroner's report. Nor Jasmine actually requested this a couple months before I did, and they did not redact the doctor. The doctor's name in that case is Dr. Michael Farzam, okay? So look at this right here. On November 12th, Dr. Farzam responded to the residents. Upon examination of Kim Porter, she had cold, flu-like symptoms. He treated her. She had a very high fever. As we all know, she did pass away, and the official cause of death was listed as pneumonia. Now, I did a whole video on this autopsy report and, just the different things in here, so y'all can go watch that if you are interested. But I wanted to focus right here. Look right here. See the partially empty bottle of zolpidem tartrate, which apparently is Ambien, according to my Google search, which was not prescribed to Kim Porter. Who was the Ambien prescribed to? I mean, now I'm wondering, was it Frank Black? Who was the Ambien in the nightstand prescribed to? Okay, and why was it in Kim Porter's nightstand? And Dr. Farzam, who treated Kim Porter, also treated and called the police on Kanye West just 2 years earlier in 2016. Here's the 911 call, if y'all want to take a listen to that, of Dr. Farzam calling the cops on Kanye.
I don't get any weapons or anything like that.
It's the 911 call made the night Kanye West suffered a mental breakdown.
You're his doctor, sir, is that correct? Yes, correct.
Kanye's personal physician, Dr. Michael Farzam, called 911 after the singer acted erratically at his trainer's house. Dr. Farzam is a concierge physician who makes house calls in his BMW. He requested police backup.
I'm just calling to my cell phone to request if we can have some police backup, because I don't think the paramedics, I think he definitely is going to need to be hospitalized.
According to reports, the doctor told 911 he needed help for a male with mental illness. To protect Kanye's identity, the doctor identified him as Jim Jones.
This guy right here not only treated Kim Porter on her deathbed, but he was at the scene when the cops were there, and he spoke to the cops on the scene, according to the police report, the coroner's report, and all that. I tagged the wrong yay in my thread, my bad. He's the one that basically got Kanye West locked up against his will. Like, the big moment in 2016 that a lot of people attribute to, like, making Kanye kind of lose it. Even Kanye said it was a traumatic experience, and it was horrible, it was the worst thing he's ever been through. So the guy who called the cops on him, a lot of people think it was Harvey Pasternak, but I think Harvey Pasternak was just in attendance, or Kanye was at Harvey, whatever his name is, Pasternak's house. Dr. Farzam is the one who is accredited with making this 911 call, and the 911 call is public. And of course, Harvey Levin from TMZ was on the beat. He was, the gang's all here. Because Mark Garagos, we'll do a separate video on this, but he was also accused by Jonathan Oddie of being the one who negotiates all these strange NDA settlement deals for Diddy. And Mark Garagos' daughter, Teeny Garagos, is one of the lead major attorneys on Diddy's defense team right now in the criminal case. So it's just all the same people coming back up. Because look, Harvey Levin, the exclusive releasing the 911 call. You can't get a 911 call. You cannot get a 911 call by FOIA request in Los Angeles. I have tried. How does Harvey Levin get them? Girl, your guess is as good as mine. This is Dr. Farzam's website. And y'all, look, listen, it looks a bit sketchy. It looks a bit shady. House call Dr. LA. So just to reiterate, the same doctor who prescribed medications to Kanye and had him institutionalized in 2016 is the same doctor who treated Kim Porter on her deathbed. Now, Cassie did testify in her testimony that Diddy had doctors that would prescribe this stuff. Also, there were dealers. But Cassie said not only were they doing the illicit substances from off the street, they were doing, she claims, prescribed medications as well. And she said that her and Diddy were both addicted to substances. So when Kanye West left his forced hospitalization in 2016, he was accompanied by his then wife, Kim Kardashian, and Michael Farzam. Okay, so this guy is around. I guess playtime with the kids was never the same after that.
Michael Farzam called 911 after the singer acted erratically at his trainer's house.
He was threatened. This is a trainer. Come to find out, he was actually Canadian intelligence, but this is my trainer.
Anyway, we saw another usual suspect, TMZ, shilling for how dangerous Kanye supposedly was and how worried Dr. Farzam was. And this doctor's the one who treated Kim Porter on her deathbed. So speaking of Kanye West and Kim Porter and Kim Kardashian, Corey Gamble was also at Kim Porter's death scene. Here's a picture of that. Corey Gamble is Kris Jenner's boyfriend, and he used to work, or maybe still does, for or with Scooter Braun. He was the store manager for a while with Scooter Braun, and Kris is apparently in Paris right now with Corey. Look, here's some fresh pics from like yesterday or the day before. Now, Corey Gamble also accompanied Diddy to go see Donald Trump in 2016. I think this is when he was still running for president. He was at Trump Tower. It wasn't the White House at this point. And in my video about this, I kind of speculated. This is the first time I called Corey Handler Gamble. This is one of my first videos ever. And it was like the failed conservatorship of Kanye West. Because I believe they were trying to lock him up, use his name and likeness, use his kids against him, whatever they needed to do. He claimed in 2020 that they were trying to fly in and lock him up with conservatorship, with 2 doctors and all this stuff. Was Dr. Farzam one of them? Who knows? Possibly at this rate. So again, it does just sort of start to bring to mind a lot of the things that used to be considered conspiracy theories. That celebrities are being set up, sabotaged, locked up, drugged forcibly, drugged voluntarily, hooked on drugs. And then again, I don't know, should we make a whole separate video revisiting the
Frankie's been eating Farmer's dog for pretty much her whole life, and she's been super healthy. She's the best. She's fun, loving, super high energy. She's a good big sister to her 2 little sisters.
Versace bag. Also, side note, what is the deal with this bag? I don't know. I mean, I don't think Lou Taylor had no money yet, so I don't know why they're always just carrying this bag. And when she's not carrying it, one of these producers who I never heard a song he produced with her one time in my life, so I don't know if that's even true. I don't know what this bag is about. Maybe she just likes her bag. I don't know. Should we make a whole video revisiting the Versace bag? Because they keep bringing up this Louis Vuitton bag, and that's the Meds bag. Others had brought up the Prada bag. And it just makes me rethink again about the faecalis, the faecalis bacterium, all these bacterias. One called, literally feces is in the name. I mean, faecalis, so Latin, F-A-E-E-A, whatever, that were found in Kim Porter's bloodstream. Now, I have had doctors, nurses, people in the medical field tell me that is totally normal. The bowels can, leak into the system, this, that, and the other, whenever somebody, passes away. But the last time I checked, I'm certainly not a biologist, but the last time I checked, when you die, your heart isn't pumping blood through your body anymore. So if they're taking a blood sample from one part of your body that isn't your intestines, I'm not sure how it leaking into your body would get it up to your heart, or would get it up to, the blood ain't pumping. Then people have said, well, maybe she had some type of infection, like a sepsis, and it was leaking into her bloodstream, but it's like faecalis. Then somebody told me that there was an episode of Scandal where somebody was injected with E. coli. So girl, I don't know. Was it? No, it was Empire. Was it Scandal? And 2018 is the year Kim Porter died, and everything hit the fan in 2018. Jonathan Oddie did the Trump Hotel thing in 2018 with the interrogation where he said he was an S-slave for Diddy and Cassie. 2018, Kim Porter passed away. 2018, Cassie broke up with Diddy. 2018, Cassie met her now husband, Alex Fine, and it apparently got pregnant pretty much that year as well. Maybe she got pregnant in 2019. She got married that year too, but she was very pregnant when she got married. So a lot of stuff seems to have hit the fan in 2018. Kim Porter, rest in peace. I hope they can, I don't know, I just want to say the official cause of death was determined to be natural causes. She died from pneumonia. But I wouldn't, discourage authorities from reopening the Kim Porter death scene. Who was this prescription Ambien prescribed to? Was it Frank Black? I have questions.
Whoop. Alright, next. Fake news.
So every now and then I look at the trending for the Diddy trial, the trending search page, and for several days now, the first search, and sometimes the first 4 out of 5, is all fake stuff. Like, absolutely fabricated, and in no way in touch with reality. Let me show you what I mean. So every single day, the first search result, or even like up to like the first 1 through 4 out of 5, is all fake stuff. Absolutely fake. Like, not even like a little bit like, oh, there's a little, no, it's not real. So this first came to my attention the first time I tried to do it, because I'm live all day. And then by the end of the day, it's kind of all a blur. And by the end of the week, it's really a blur. So I'm like, what? Like, some really groundbreaking stuff is happening. And I'm just kind of like flying. If you don't know this, I'm covering the trial live on my other channel. It's not being televised. It's not being like live streamed. But there are people inside the courtroom who are allowed. They're given special permission, only a few people. So the first time this came to my attention, it had to do with Prince, the artist formerly known as Prince. And Prince was brought up in court. Obviously, Prince himself is no longer with us, recipes. But the topic and the entertainer known as Prince, he was brought up in court. It was during Cassie's testimony, and she was talking about a time where Diddy had done, a domestic incident to her. So she said the reason that he got mad, I don't know if it was at Prince's house or not, but yeah, I think it was at Prince's house. I'm gonna find the article. But what I definitely can tell you, I remember, and again, I'm reading from these people that have special permission to tweet from inside there. There's only 5 people who have permission to tweet. Everybody else got to put their phone in a Faraday bag, like where there's no 5G coming in and out. Now, I suspect that the traditional media does bring in like tape recorders and stuff, because it's like they just really be getting like these very long quotes, and they're putting the quotes on it with confidence, like they really mean it. I don't know. I've seen some things in my Free Britney court days, but anyway, I'm reading these tweets live, and during Cassie's testimony, it came up that she was going to a party, a house party, and the reason she wanted to go, big reason she wanted to go, is because the selling point of the party was Prince was a lot of the time was going to be performing live in the basement or somewhere at the house. Prince was going to be doing a show, so Cassie gets invited and she goes. Well, Diddy also shows up, and when he shows up, Cassie turns around. She says she got very scared. She ran away. She left. She got out of that party as fast as she possibly could. That was it. That was the mention of Prince. After that, Diddy was upset, and he did an act of, what he's being charged as like in furtherance of a criminal racketeering and became conspiracy. So that was the whole Prince thing. Like, that was it. That was it. So then you start getting these. It was number one on the topic. The number one search thing was Prince released audio. Like, audio of Prince was released in the Diddy trial, and it was like they were saying it with confidence, with total confidence. Like, it was like not like it was just fake. It was just fake. This is not the first time. I've come across something like this. Okay, again, this ain't my first rodeo. I've seen it once. You've seen it once. You've seen it 1,000 times. You know what to look for. This happened in the Britney movement. This happened in the Bam movement. But this is different, because this is getting like millions of views. It's causing people to search. It's bringing to mind the AstroTurf video that we just made, planting fake stories. That's only the first thing, y'all. It keeps happening. There was another thing. It came to my attention during my live tweeting that somebody had faked one of Inner City Press's tweets. Faked the tweet. It was totally photoshopped. It caused him to have to make an announcement on his Twitter like, this is not real. The tweet was about Nicki Minaj. It was like, Nicki testimony, groundbreaking testimony. Cassie testifies. Nicki Minaj told her, I'll see if I can have a picture. Nicki Minaj told Cassie, get over it. Everybody has to go through it in the industry or something like that. Like, tough, like, Cassie tried to confide in Nicki Minaj. It was a whole generated fake story.
As social media, I guess, works these days, people just did a pure fake. Initially, it was saying that Inner City Press reported somehow that Nicki Minaj had told Cassie to stay with Sean Combs. It was totally false. And then it only came to, that was false.
Sometimes I have 7 or more tabs up, and I'm going through all different news sources, all different political sides, and I'm reading different live updates from inside the court, and also Inner City Press, who's an independent journalist, and he does this only for his whole job, is goes to court, tweets about it. That's by anybody else. He did just get an interview with Law and Crime, but it's like he is on a mission. He has filed in court not one single, you know what? 50-11, about like probably 20 news organizations tried to get those freak off tapes shown in the gallery of the jury. The jury saw them, not, screenshots I think they mostly saw. I don't think they've seen motion tapes at this point. Maybe they have. The public has not. And it is sealed and the public is not supposed to see it. That is the judge's order as far as any evidence in this case. But that being said, 15, maybe more, 20 of the biggest news organizations in the country tried to get those freak-off tapes to be shown in court. Not to the public, released to them. They weren't asking for a tape for their own private collection. They wanted it to be shown in a courtroom gallery. It wasn't. And it won't be. Another thing weird has been going on in this case, according to Inner City Press, and like I said, he does this for his living, goes to the Southern District of New York all the time for his living. He filed something in court because there is all kind of filings being done where it's not actually being filed on the docket at all. Like, there's a way to file something sealed. Like, seal the whole thing. I haven't had time to redact it, but I needed its emergency. I need the judge to see it, so when I have the time to redact it in a day or two, I'll resubmit it. There's a way to do that. But at least it keeps track of, something was filed. Document 333 or whatever. And so that is how, an email to the judge maybe should go. Inner City Press says this is usually not the case where you can do all this. They're just emailing with the judge, both sides, Diddy's side and the Fed, just sending back and forth emails every single day, all day, during the day, nighttime, after 10:30 p.m., just any time. And now Inner City Press, thank God, has actually filed a paper in court saying, can we get that? What do you mean? What are you doing? Can we get that public? Not one mainstream. Not one of those other ones that was trying to get the freak-off tapes. You know who wasn't trying to see freak-off tapes? Inner City Press. He didn't join, from what I remember. He didn't join trying to see those. But he has filed, and it's not filed by a lawyer. He may be a lawyer, I don't know, but he filed it himself. So this is the guy whose tweets are being faked. They're not faking ABC tweets. Right? So this leads me to, what in the AstroTurf hell is going on? Nicki Minaj, they're tweeting that. So Inner City Press had to retweet and say, this is not real. This did not happen. There has been absolutely no mention of Nicki Minaj, and I would know because I've been in the courtroom every single day. So would you be surprised to find out that same very day, in the morning time, there was the fake tweet about Nicki Minaj. That same very day, Nicki Minaj was actually brought up in court and talked about in court by the defense, Diddy's side, Diddy's lawyers. So there's a fake tweet about Nicki Minaj. Someone went out of their way to Photoshop, make it look like Inner City Press, the most credible source on the whole matter. At least they knew that. Make it look like he tweeted about Nicki Minaj that morning. By that afternoon, Nicki Minaj did get brought up for the first time ever in the trial, and it was like Diddy's lawyer was asking Cassie, it was during her testimony, Diddy's lawyer was like, basically I wasn't in there, I'm paraphrasing or whatever, this is what I understand. You say Diddy kind of shelved your career, right? He took the wind out of your career sails, he sabotaged your career, but isn't it true that because of the connections to him, you were able to get into the studio with all kinds of very famous people? Diddy's lawyer brings this up. She name drops Lil Wayne, I think, and Nicki Minaj. So this is also after Cassie had already said the only reason Britney Spears and Dallas Austin were at her birthday party was because Diddy invited them. This is the first time in history, whatever. We already talked about that. Well, you have the fake Prince story. You have the fake Nicki Minaj story. You have the Diddy $20 protesters, which we already discussed. And then something else happened. We had these comments, the same exact comments. Should I pull them up? The same exact comments, all from these Indian names. And everybody knows that the bot farms are in China, Philippines, and India. That's what Pakistan. They have the SEX bots, the farms. They'll pay people. We made a video about that too. So then there's all these bots, and they put that in my live stream, and it's all taken up for Diddy. Diddy is just being targeted because anytime a powerful black man builds something, they gotta come take it. And it's all this stuff, and some of it, it's literally the same exact verbatim, exact same thing. It's all these pro Diddy bots, and I'm I know it's bots because they're saying the same stuff and other reasons. And it's almost is it that obvious to everybody else, or is it just so obvious to me because I know what I'm looking at? I kind of feel like I'm a little bit going crazy because it just seems so freaking obvious. Those free Diddy number one, Wendy Williams. And the Wendy Williams thing, it's two birds, one stone. Because she has her own high-profile court case going on right now with her guardianship, and maybe she actually just testified in that. But there, I'm looking at this video right here. No, excuse me, I'm looking at a Facebook post. I'm looking at this video. Yeah, this video. What is my star worth with 210,000 subscribers? AI picture as the of Mike Tyson. 1 minute ago, this is 18 hours ago, but the title of the video is 1 minute ago. Wendy Williams just exposed Diddy, Jay-Z, and Oprah under oath. ... It's a whole fake video about Wendy testifying in Diddy's trial. It's not real. It's false. And it has, right now, in the first 18 hours, 1.6 million views. What? It's not real. This YouTube channel in and of itself, too, is just... honestly, I rebuke. It's sinister. It's... what's the word I'm looking for? It feels like sinister. Like it feels diabolical. It feels bad faith. It doesn't feel... it feels like they're trying to do harm. And if you look at the actual... okay, 210,000 subscribers, and if you look at the most recent videos, I mean, they're getting 387,000 views, 110,000, and then that one had 1.6 million, 500, there's like all these views. But if you just scroll back a little bit, they wouldn't get all them views like 9 days ago. The Diddy trial started, well, on day 9. They were getting some views. I gotta say, some of their stuff would go viral as I'm actually looking at this. Like there was the one they put 1 minute ago seems to go viral. 273,000 on Nonito Donaire is in critical condition. So, but like, yeah, I mean, the average here is like 3,000, 5,000, 7,000, 2,000. And then you start getting to where when the Diddy trial kicks off, where's the first one? Right here, 4 days ago, that first Diddy video. Diddy's mom defends him in court. No, she didn't. I guess, you know, that's almost like okay, because she did go into court. So maybe the act of walking into court, this person in their mind can twist it, or this robot in their mind can twist it to be like, okay, she defended him in court. Look, Prince's secret recording, 1 million views 3 days ago. Could that be why it was the #1 search thing? And it's just like, if you haven't, please, it's required reading, it's required viewing. Go watch my AstroTurf video entitled "You're Probably Arguing with a Bot." This is what it looks like. There's 1 million views on this video on something that's just not real. There's nothing about this that's real. There is no secret recording. He wasn't recording. If anything, it was his secret performance. Because Cassie had said he was doing a performance in his... you know what I mean? Like, there's ways to make it technically true. And maybe it would still be misleading, but this is not misleading. This is false. That's not the same thing. It does make me wonder if this is where the Google Trends is coming from. It does make me wonder. Because this Prince thing, what's today is Wendy Williams. Did he post something about her? Yep. That's what we're talking about. 1.6 million views. And then today, the very next day, after that came out 18 hours ago, the #1 search thing. This is how it works. Exhibit A in real time. Don't take my word for it. Look at it yourself, okay? Look at it yourself. 3 days ago, Prince's secret recording just blah, 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 and forth, okay? The next day, that was the #1 search thing on Google. 18 hours ago, Exhibit B. 18 hours ago. This is Exhibit A, Part B, Part 2. 1.6, so it did work, right? Like, it's not going to work every time, but when it works, now, Wendy Williams testifying against Diddy and exposing Jay-Z, totally fabricated and fake stories, are obscuring this attention from something else they could be Googling. Like maybe that the chief financial officer of Combs Enterprises is testifying today as well. Or maybe that Kid Cudi will be on the stand today. Kid Cudi, how is Kid freaking Cudi not the #1 search? There's also a story about Kanye West. And if you look at these Wendy Williams and these Kanye West stories, you're kind of getting two birds, one stone, because Wendy Williams already has her own thing going on right now. She's trying desperately, or someone is, on her Instagram account to get people's attention about stuff. You remember it was the biggest story a few weeks ago, a couple months ago. Wendy Williams, the guardianship, all that. She's passing notes out the door. Like, it was working. She was getting eyes on her case. She was able to negotiate for some of her freedom, I think, with the fact that there was public pressure, and there should be, and there should have been. But people are preoccupied now with other things.
Mother!
People talking about Wendy again. Don't get them talking about that unconstitutional conservatorship. Don't get them talking about Wells Fargo's constitutional. Get them talking about something fake that never happened. It's just fake. Kanye West, similar, right? Don't get them talking about what Kanye West is doing, what he's saying, stuff like that. Get them talking about something fake. It doesn't matter whose side, one side, other side. It's just fake. It's just something else. Wendy Williams is the related topic to the Diddy trial. Wendy Williams is the most searched, not Kid Cudi, and he's testifying today. They're typing Wendy Williams. There's these fake Facebook accounts too. 9 hours ago, entrepreneur mindset. How many views is